it's Monday. But I'm gonna let some folks gather in. Just wanted to take some time to allow that to be the case. Um, I came through earlier and wanted to share what I'm sharing now, but then um, I don't want to say the convo got derailed. I just want to say that we started talking about other things, and I think that that's something that's really easy to do, especially when I want to talk about how much shame I've been holding on to, how much I felt like I just did not know what to do, how much I just knew that I had to know what to do and I didn't know, um, but I didn't feel confident enough to say, hey, I don't know this thing, or hey, I don't understand how to get out of this situation. And I think I'm not alone in that. I know that a lot of people are also in situations where they're like, if I say I don't know what to do, that might not look good. And so, hey, Rain. And so I feel like for the most part, I've just been trying to seem like I know what to do and fucking myself over instead of just being candid about how to know what the fuck to do. And I wish that I was the kind of person that didn't know what to do and was like, hey, I don't know what to do. Can you help me? Like, I really wish that that was my first thought, but it's not. My first thought is, oh, I just am, not getting it. I'm just not that girl. Like, I'm gonna figure it out, Like, I must be able to figure it out. I must be able to, at some point, like, get it. Like, I'm just not getting it right now. Like, I'll figure it out. And that thought process, that way of believing that I will figure out something that I've never experienced or something that I don't know how to do, and that I'm just not gonna get it just yet, but soon, that lie that we tell ourselves, I just want to break silence about that. Because, again, I feel like in retrospect, it seems insane that I would try to, like, do something that I don't know what to do, and just figure it out along the way. At this point, yes, at this point, it feels insane what I've been doing. But at the time, it felt like that's just what you do when you're an adult, when you're a grown up person. Like, you just got to figure it out, like, it's on you. And again, I realize that I made things harder for myself now. I realize that now. But at the time, I really thought I was just like being a bad bitch. I was just being, I was just taking my licks and going and not really taking time to really break down. And I also didn't feel like I could break down. I really felt like I was going through something so crazy and like I had so much on my plate that I kind of was like, yeah, I'm just gonna smoke an L on this one. And I feel like as someone who smokes weed, I'm gonna be real. I think that weed is great. I love it. But I think that when you're going through stuff, it can be such a smokescreen, such a mask for like just like actually sitting with your pain. And so I feel like I've been avoiding grieving what's happened to me. And I just want to take this moment just to be candid about all the ways that I've been fucking up. Because I have fucked up a lot this year. And not even just this year. I feel like everything started in October. I feel like that's why I wanted to also share this story because it's almost been 1 year of housing insecurity. It's almost been 1 year of me trying to figure out what the fuck I'm about to do next. And I want to say that I tried to give backstory in the last video I did, but it didn't work out like that. However, what I'll say is I and my ex-partner started my business. It started because I was living in a housing situation with my ex where his mother did not want me to be with him. His mother was very unhappy with him having a partner that was not white, was very unhappy with him having a partner, period, because their relationship was very enmeshed. And so at some point, his mother invites us to live with her and her husband, but then spends the entire time I'm there being quite abusive towards me, being quite rude towards me. And I was letting that shit go because, sweetie, I'm not paying no rent or nothing to live up in that house. So I'm like, yeah. And I think that unfortunately, when you're not paying to live somewhere, you are just at the mercy of whatever fucking treatment someone thinks you deserve. And so while I'm not paying rent and I'm living with my partner in their parents' house, I'm also noting that like there's just a lot of abusive behavior. And so I'm like, yeah, I hate this place, but I would smoke weed outside with my partner and we would be able to just enjoy the sunshine. And I was honestly just like coping hard as fuck in that situation. And so at some point, his mother decides that she wants me to be homeless. Like, and I mean that genuinely. Like, at some point, she said verbatim to my face and in front of my partner, drop her off in Detroit. This was after I had named that I was sick and was not thinking I was going to be able to go to a lake house event with my partner out of town. I woke up not feeling well, and her response was drop her off in Detroit. At the time, we were living in like the middle of nowhere, top of Ohio. So it's like, oh, you want him to drive 2 hours to make me homeless. Like, keep in mind, we had gone to Michigan to like get weed a few times, and that's why she knew we were in Michigan. We never went to Detroit. Not any shade against Detroit, but we always went to like this one little town like on the border to get weed and then we'd come back. So the fact that she was like, go out of your way to drop her off in the city where there is a large black population to make her homeless was insane. But again, I'm sick. I'm sitting at the kitchen table being told by someone's mother that I should basically be homeless now. And I'm gonna be real with you, I have still not processed that all the way. I'm not gonna break down here about it, but it is like hitting like goddamn like the bitch. She said it straight up, like, go be homeless. And this was after, and I know some of y'all might be like, well, why did she want you to be homeless? She told me in that conversation that she had been looking forward to me and my partner going out of the house. She obviously was feeling like her house was being overwhelmed. She had been living with her and her husband. Now there were two other grown adults living with her. I'm sure that was overwhelming. With that being said, she invited us into her home and at no point said that she wanted to transition us out of that home. At no point did she say, do y'all want to move out? At no point did she ever tell us like where to go. There was never any indication that she actually wanted us to leave until seemingly I got sick, and that's when she wanted me to leave. Me and my partner at the time were surprised and shocked at what she said. But while I sat there and was really trying to argue with this lady about whether or not I should be homeless, my ex decided to just start packing our things. I never chose to leave that woman's house. In retrospect, bitch, it really shouldn't have been him packing the shit. It really should have been me. But again, I was so shocked at what she said. I'm like over here trying to argue with the lady, and my ex is like, bitch, it's time to go. And again, this is one of my other Libra partners. So, two cardinal motherfucking signs. I know I'm a zodiac bitch. Let me go, let me go. But I'm just saying though, like, motherfucking cardinal air, this motherfucker was like, I heard what you said. It's racist. It's demonic. We gotta go. My cardinal earth ass is like, bitch, I'm not paying rent to live here. Bitch, you about to really put me out and put me through all this fucking financial stress. Like, that's literally where I was at. I was like, bitch, making me homeless was like low-key sentencing me to death, like in this moment. And also, it was 2020, bitch. It wasn't 2021, ho. It was 2020. It was the year where motherfuckers was like, oh, we're about to shit die. We're about to be shit dead. So it was really like a situation where like this white woman really told me to my face, you actually don't deserve life. Like, you actually don't deserve safety. Um, okay. All right, Emmy. Anyways, so with that being said, I'm going to just, if anything don't really apply, I'm going to just let you just do your thing. But anyways, I truly believe that the mother, I don't want to say she was jealous of me or anything like that. I'm not really feeling like that was the case. I really feel like the mother was like, damn, you already said you wasn't going to marry my son, because a conversation came up earlier on like a few weeks before where her daughter-in-law asked me when me and my ex were going to get married, and I was like, oh, I don't think that's going to be happening. And so there's a part of me that feels like as long as I was like acting like me and my partner were going to be together forever, I feel like she was cool. But once I said this is not about to be marriage, I truly believe that's when the bitch realized like, oh, she's benefiting too much She not about to be my daughter-in-law. She not about to be nothing to me. So whatever. And so, like I said, I was a sex worker living in her house. I was giving her no money. I was cooking in the house. Me and my partner were. But at the same time, I do think that like she was trying to protect her partner, her son, lol. I think she was trying to protect her son because she was enmeshed with him in ways. She was very much disgusted by her husband. She was one of those boy moms, you know? She didn't like her husband no more. He didn't do a lot for her. He was actually benefiting a lot off of her back and was borderline abusive. Like there were times where he would have like this silent rage and I would feel it, but I would just get away from him. She couldn't. So there's a part of me that feels like she saw her son as like a nice man that she could trust. Whole time her son is a queer person who is femme leaning and like very much like invested in divine femininum, his divine feminine. So it's kind of just like, yeah, like I don't think you realize it, but you're trying to be a boy mom so bad, and you have one son, babe, not two. So with that being said, I just feel like she felt more safe with her son, and so that relationship was borderline inappropriate. I didn't see it that way at the time because I don't have a family, right? So sometimes it's hard for me to see like how fucked up people's family really is because I don't got one. So like as far as I'm concerned, I'm like, oh, your mom do all this stuff for you, that's great. And so I didn't see it until obviously I saw it. But my ex packed up the car and was like, let's leave. And I'm like, okay. And I just want to say that, like, that moment is insane in retrospect because it's like, all my ex had was a car. He did not have a job. I was doing sex work, and that's how I had money. He did not have any money. And so it was very fascinating to me how quickly he packed up the car as if like I was gonna be the one to save the relationship or save both of us from poverty, like as if I was if I as if he didn't need to do anything other than put me in that van and then we were gonna be good. I don't know what he was thinking exactly. And again, in retrospect, like it was his mom having a racist meltdown and having a very anti-black meltdown, having a very like just a very hostile meltdown. And so I don't expect anyone to know what to do, but the fact that he was like, let's run away, and that's all he could think to do, that sucks. What up, Big Back? Should I call you Big Bark? Do you want to be called something different? Let me know. So, anyways, like I was saying, like I'm low-key trying to give like a whole timeline for like my homelessness and poverty and situation. So, I mean, it might be funny to some people. Like there might be like some comedic moments, but to be honest, it's like kind of fucked up and just like depressing. So, I just want to be candid that this stream, while there may be moments that are funny, it's not intended to be funny. It's supposed to just be a moment of accountability and a moment for me to just be candid. That's what I'm saying. Like running, jumping into that van and being like, "Let's go!" Like I just didn't know exactly what the fuck we were supposed to be doing. But as someone who was doing Barco, okay, I got you. But as I said, I was doing sex work, meaning like I was like selling pictures of my belly like online for money, and so having that. Oh, thank you, Olela. Or is it Oela? However you communicate it, just like let me know, or phonetically say it. Um, Oh, Black Sheep, I'm happy to hear that. I'm really happy to hear that. Thank God. For real. Like being online is hard. Finding love online is hard. So again, just to recap for anyone that just got up in here, I'm talking about like just like the timeline of events of how my business started and like what I'm trying to do moving forward. Because again, there's just been a lot of confusion, a lot of quietness, a lot of silence on my side, and it's been because I'm trying to figure shit out, not because I don't care, but because I'm trying to just figure shit out, truly. So me and my ex, we are in a van, uh, driving north. The first thing we did was drive to the very top of Michigan. I'll never forget that. We went to fucking a place called Escanaba, if you want to Google it. We went to Copper Harbor. Um, I want to say we were also in a place called Marquette. We were just in a lot of places that were like rural, northern. Nini, I appreciate you for reaching out. You want to go to my Instagram, OUIIDFAE, and we will message in the DMs. Also, my Twitter, Marshmallow, at Marshmallow. So, My ex did have a master's degree at the time and could have absolutely gotten a job doing something online. I'm not trying to like do too much about him because honestly, like I feel like the whole story is insane. Like I just feel like again, I do not want to give my ex too much because there's trust me, like it. So, anyways, I am traveling in Michigan with my ex. I am the only one bringing in money. He does not have a job. He is not working. I'm not trying to play him when I say that. I just feel like once his mom was doing all that shit and we ran, it was kind of just like, you know what I mean? Hey, Big Bark, I'm so glad that the mushroom honey hit you. Yo, it's about to be mushroom honey season. I'm actually about to make myself a little jar, so just want to put that out there. And baby, these mushies are not playing. Like, low key, bitch. Like, next menu, I'm going to have to raise the price. So, I'm just saying right now. If you see the price is the price, I got you on that price. But I'm going to change the price low key, bitch. I'm going to have to, again, it's very strong. It's very strong, bitch. It's very strong. If I get some shit that I could lower the price again, I got you. I got you. But again, also, if you're a returning customer, bitch, you're locked in. Like, if you're a first time customer and you wait, unfortunate. But if you are a returning customer and you're not, you're. I'm not gonna say anymore. Anyways, so that's my energy. Moving on though. So me and my ex are driving all around Michigan, trying to fucking survive, not die, and literally the day that I am driving to the north, somebody in Chicago was like, "Can you help me get mushrooms?" And I said, "Yes." I put that shit together and baby, from there, the rest is motherfucking history. Like, dead ass, somebody asked me on the way out of a demonic, weird ass situation, can you make something happen? And I said, I can. And so that is low key how this all began. I literally was made houseless by a weird white lady, and I was with her son, and so I was protected in ways. Bitch, listen, baby, you already know I got you. You already know I got you. Twitter, Twitter. I also have a Google Voice phone number if people are interested. I've had this phone number a million years. Get on Google Voice, y'all. For those of y'all who like phone bill getting too crazy, if you always at home, you work from home, bitch, you could get a phone number on Wi-Fi off Google. Download Google Voice Dialer. The only thing is if you use a hotspot to connect to internet, it may not let you make calls out. That's one thing I've noticed is that if I'm on somebody's hotspot, I can't make a call through Google Voice Dialer. So I just want to put that out there. The IG is OUIIDFAE, Weed Fae. And then there's another one, FATBEEP. So that's Fat Beep, with three E's. So I just want to put that out there. And then also my Twitter is at Marshmallow. Again, I forgot because emotional distress, dysregulation, poverty, stress, wildness, that like if I don't work, I'm fucked. And like I literally could not work. And that is honestly like the in a nutshell what I'm trying to say is that like I was mentally distressed and I had to get the fuck up out of here. But I'm back. I mean I feel like there's a lot of words that I say a lot, so definitely trying to get my vocab up. I'm definitely trying to use new words, but we out here. But yeah, thank you for listening. Anyways, getting back to what I was saying though, somebody ordered something through me the day that I was moving out of my ex's mom's home, and my business started from there. I want to say it was 2020. I can't remember what time of year it was. I know it was summertime though, because the van was hot as fuck. I was roasting in that bitch. I looked crazy as fuck. Like, honestly, like, bitch, rolling my fat ass out that van every day, like, trying to motherfucking not look crazy. Like, bitch, it really hurt me, like, how much, like, I just literally, like, just stopped existing, it felt. Like, I just feel like I was posting menus, and that's all I would do. Like, I would just post menus, post things, try to post like pictures, videos of like things that I had access to. Like, if you go back into my social media, the way 2020 to 2022 probably looked compared to now, it's like, damn, bitch, like you really was like worried that you was about to die in that van. Absolutely. Like I really felt like this is the end of my life. Like I don't know if I'm gonna make it. And as I said, like my ex partner could have just driven us off the road one day. Could have just said fuck it, because he had never gone through anything like that. However, I'll say this: I feel like because of my attitude throughout the entire thing, which was we're still alive, you know, like that was my energy. It was like we're still here, like we have a chance to do something different. And I think that that's what kept him afloat as well. It's like him realizing that, yeah, you know, you packed up the car, you drove us to safety. Like that's how what I kept saying to him is like, thank you for driving us to safety. Thank you for knowing that I couldn't handle any more of that. You couldn't handle any more of that. Cause I'm over here trying to talk to the bitch who's like, drop her off in Detroit. What is there to talk about? Like when I think about my behavior, it's like, whoa, like I really thought I could really get through to the bitch. I really thought that I had something to say that she would listen to. Whole time she telling me to my face and telling her son, get this bitch out of here. And I'm over here like, what? Like just not getting it. Like mentally I just didn't get it. Like I was just kind of like, what am I doing to you? How am I harming you? And it wasn't about me as much as it was about this woman knowing that her son probably, you know, like again, I think that she thought, you know, my son, that's the one that's gonna get married. He gonna his degrees gonna help it. Like he gonna be the son to take care of me. Like I think she was like, my son gonna be the reason I can stop working. Like she a very hardworking white lady, and you know, I think that you know at this point she makes six figures, and so she really wants one of her seeds to do that too. Both of her kids that have partners are not as engaged with their money, and even though they had academic success in ways, and so there's a part of me that just feels like she's like, oh no, that seed gonna grow because the other two ain't. The other two don't found partners, and I don't see a lot. I'm helping them. You know what I mean? Even though the daughter, low key estranged from the family, don't never come by to visit, and I feel like it's because she's seen her mom be a mule. And then now the mom want to act like she not a mule no more because she got six figures, meaning the mom only feels like financial success is what makes her her. And so again, when she sees me broke selling belly pics, you know, she don't even know I sell belly pics, but she know that I got money somehow, but she don't see me doing no work in her mind. So she's like, how is this bitch even likable? Like I really think that she just was looking at her son like, how do you even like this bitch? She's not accomplished. You have a master's degree. Like I think she was just kind of like, it was fucking her up that I was like, that I was a viable partner for her son, when she's like, haven't you seen me working my fingers to the bone? Don't you want a white mule? I think the mother really thought like, in retrospect, if I be so for real, like I told y'all before, like even though I dress like a girl and shit, I'm a man, bitch. Like I am. Like I've had to figure that out on my own, bitch. But I'm a dude, dog. Like I'm a dude. And so with that being said, because I am a man, I feel like some of the men that have fucked with me are sometimes trans women that ain't ready yet. They ain't ready yet. They ain't ready yet. The girl's not ready yet. Or they're gay dudes, bro, that see my masculinity and that's what they're attracted to. And then they feel less bad about it because they're like, well, you do have a pussy. You do be dressing like a girl out here. I could get away with being gay with you. Again, isn't that crazy? Again, it's crazy how we live in a world where I gotta fucking figure this shit out. This ain't fucking common knowledge. Most people don't know that. Again, the way that I look and dress is as a girl because I feel like this is the safest way for me to dress. But my pussy don't make me a girl, and I hope y'all know that. I hope y'all know that. I pray y'all know that. I pray y'all know that. I pray y'all know that being a femme person or femme presenting isn't the only thing that makes you a femme if you are one. I hope you know that there's more to it, you know? And so with that being said, I have dated men that were trans women. We call them eggs. You can look it up. If you're not trans, this is some tea that you probably don't know. But there are people called eggs. I was an egg. I was an egg. I used to be an egg. I used to think like, well, you know, yeah, I have a vagina, but I don't subscribe to this or that. Like, I don't do this or that. And then the ways that, like, when you do have, are not even just a vagina, I was assigned female at birth, meaning someone looked between my legs, just like they did you, and they said, all right, that's enough to be a girl. Again, with that being said, do I feel like I'm an intersex person? No, I don't. I don't feel like there's anything happening with me that is giving intersex. However, I think because of anti-blackness, I think because of fat phobia, I think because of the way that people see big femmes who are not white, um, who don't perform beauty aesthetic or softness in a particular way. I also think the tone of my voice. People come on this live and try to be funny, but people do think that I'm a masculine person who is performing femininity at times. And I feel like that's a conversation for another day. Loki, we did have a convo slightly about it in the last live, if you care. But we didn't go this deep. We didn't go this deep. But I really do think that like my ex's mom didn't see her son really. I think that she was like, oh, why is my son with this like really butch bitch who's like what not white? And I think that like she didn't realize like baby, your son is queer as fuck. Your son is very femme. Your son is probably one of the most feminine people that I've ever met. And yet the desire, you know, that you want from him is to find someone who is feminine, and I don't think that that's how that works. Like I feel like two femmes can find each other for sure, but I do think that like my ex liked how much I perform femininity because I think it offered a smokescreen for him. If you dress super femme and you are still at your core not performing femininity a certain way, people do pick up on that. And so I do think that some of the femmes I've been closer with are femmes that wouldn't necessarily call themselves like the girly girls, but they would call themselves like, you know, a sturdy bitch. Like I feel like I've been I feel like that's the best way I can put it. Sturdy. Like people be saying, "Oh, she's sturdy, solid." You know what I mean? There's just ways that people talk about femmes who are not wearing the nails. You know what I mean? I've been painting my nails recently just because I like to, but like I usually don't paint my nails. Like I usually don't do certain things that perform femininity because at this point, I'm just kind of like I don't necessarily want anyone to read me any particular way. However, I know someone will see a bonnet, they'll see off the shoulder shirt, and they're like, that's someone trying to perform femininity. The shirt just big, you know what I mean? It's just a big shirt, and I also feel like wearing it like this is ugly to me. Like I don't know why. I just feel like the deep V, it doesn't give as much as the shoulder. I can't call it. But again, am I doing that because I want to be perceived as feminine? Not necessarily. I'm just trying to be comfortable, but you can't really always read why people are doing what they're doing. So I'll hold that as well. What up, Jennifer? I hope everyone's having a good morning. As I said, I'm getting a little bit off topic, but getting back into it, my ex's mom made us homeless. I started my business. And at first, me and my ex were not like I want to say it was easier in the beginning because I was excited about how we weren't going to die. I was like, this is so easy. This job is so easy. But at some point, I started to realize that I was the one doing most of the labor. Like that, like I was the one doing everything. A stud femme. Okay, you're a girl at heart. Okay. I hear you being from Jersey, okay. And I feel like the same thing about girlies in New York. There's New York girls that people don't think are feminine because of the way they communicate. Whereas like in New York, like because it's such a hustle and bustle city, you kind of have to like uh you like there's some places that you live or some people that I'm just trying to offer that like developing your throat chakra, developing your verbal communication skills, like that's not every place. Like there's places in rural places where people are more quiet, right? There's places in the south where people are like kind of like socialized to shut the fuck up and be shady and give looks, you know what I mean? Just the way like, and then in the north it's like as soon as you in somebody's bubble, like they're saying something, they might even like reach out, you know what I mean? Just the ways that like if you're in in a space where like it's more reasonable to like have to engage in a certain way, that you will, versus other people. I think about like the Southern Belle trope versus like it's kind of like in Bad Girls Club. Like I know this is off topic slightly, but when they're trying to like give you like a little clip or a little like a little name for the girl, like they're like the Tampa tornado. You know what I mean? Just the ways that like if you're from a certain place, like how like your behavior is like not typical. And again, how like if you're in the South, you have to be like a Southern Belle or dot dot dot. Or in the North, how it's like debutante wasp or dot dot dot. Just the ways that like when you're behaving in a good way, it's Belle, Southern Belle. I don't know what other ways people, Bamas or I don't know. I'm not from the South, no shade. But like just the ways that people talk about like people in the South that are not Southern Belle, you know what I mean? Again, I'm just trying to say how like when you're operating in a way that patriarchy can appreciate and can operate and can use you, then it's positive. But if not, and see, even saying that you can't be soft as a female or can't be soft as a femme, it's like, what are we saying really? That like there's violence and that is why your behavior is like this. And so, again, like, I truly believe that my ex's mom saw me as having too comfortable a life. Truly, I truly believe that she thought, based on my behavior, that I deserved a rougher life. Like, she clearly thought that I deserved to be dropped off in the streets of Detroit and left to fend for myself. That is what she saw for me. And genuinely, her being a Scorpio bitch, I'm not gonna lie, bitch. Like, I was like, wow, like, that is such a projection because she's a six-figure making white woman and I'm living in her home. So she believes that I deserve to go. How, Whitney? How did you go to bed and I'm still here when I left at 5 a.m. and I just came back? Like, I left at like four something. So how you went to bed? I mean, unless it's later than I think. But anyways, getting back to it, so I really do believe that once I became homeless and started this business in the back of my ex's van, I really did think like things were going to work out. Things were going to be on the up and up. However, I will say that when I started noticing my ex wasn't helping as much, he started lashing out at me. And it was awkward because again, I'm living in a van with this man, like, and to be candid, once the business started to pop, like a few weeks into it, we were able to start renting hotels for the week, or not hotels, bitch, motels for the week. There would be times, don't get me wrong, where we could get a motel because there would be like a deal, a discount, or something, a rate for the week that made sense. But we were staying in like those strip motels, just trying to catch a week here and there, moving to different cities, different towns every motherfucking week because there was a deal an hour away, a deal 2 hours away, a deal south, a deal north. And so I don't know all where I lived. Like there's times where like my phone will be like, "You've been here before," and I'm like, "Really?" And it was when I was homeless living in a van. And I don't remember it. See, and Jennifer, you saying a lot of Detroit girls are perceived that way. It just makes me think about how she really thought that like me going to Detroit when I had never. I want to also say that I had never been to Detroit. I just want to put that out there that I've never lived in Michigan before moving to Ohio and going to Michigan as a homeless person. So me even like living in Detroit, like I had never even done that either. And I'm from Connecticut. No tea, no shade. When I met my ex in Ohio, I was living in Cincinnati, and even before then, I was in like Kentucky. So yeah, bitch, I was in Kentucky at some point. No tea, no shade to Kentucky, bitch. Kentucky honestly got some good food, but it was boring, bitch. I would never live in Kentucky again. No shade. Kentucky was so fucking boring, and it was just awkward. Like I just feel like I met some very strange people. I just feel like the socialization in the South is way more aggressive. Like I feel like in the North you could be a little weirdo, a little bit more. I feel like in the South, like if you weird, you gotta really hide that shit. Like that's just how I feel. I'm crying. I mean, no shade to the Scorpio people, but I just feel like her even suggesting that he should drop me off in a city that I don't even know. It was just kind of like, girl, what's wrong with you? So, anyways, we are living in motels. The business is running. I'm telling him, like, hey, can you help me with these menus? And I'm gonna be real with you. It's not that the menus take a lot of time to make, it's more that I want to I want to be, I was thinking about being an emporium. I want to be candid. When I came up with the name Fat B Emporium and Provisions, bitch, I was really thinking like big, bitch, like my forehead, bitch. I was like, I gotta get it all for him. I was like, I gotta have the herbs. I gotta have all the seasonings. I gotta have it all. No, she literally told him to drop me off in the city and be like and bounce and come back to Ohio. Like she kept being like, I just want like even when he's packing up the van, she kept insisting, I just want her to leave, not you. She kept saying it. She kept emphatically. I'll never forget that shit. She's like, "You can come back, son." She kept saying it, and he's just like packing the van up, like not engaging her at all. So he always knew he could go home. That's a different vibe than what I knew. I knew I gotta make this shit work. I'm not saying that anyone needs to understand my mindset in this. I'm just trying to be candid that I always knew that bitch said he could come back. Not me. So if it don't work, I'm fucked. I also want to say I had tried to break up with him a few weeks beforehand. Again, I was realizing in that relationship that he was benefiting more than me because he wasn't even working when we were together in his mama house. So there was a part of me that was like, you know what? This relationship not really serving me. I'm doing more work than you. Like I'm a whole sex worker in your mama house making money. And yeah, we having a good relationship in ways, like good connection, good friendship, but you're really letting me do a lot of work here. And yes, you're the reason why we're not paying rent. True. But bitch, how we gonna get out of here? The fuck? Like my thought process was like, bitch, how we gonna stack to get out of here? You fucking chilling. That's crazy as fuck. So my energy was like, you know what? I think this ain't for me. He begged me not to break up with him. And so for his mama to turn around a couple weeks later and be like, make her homeless, I'm looking at him like, because I tried to break up with your ass. I tried to leave you. Now she forcing it. So I'm just laughing about it because it's like, that's so funny how I really tried to leave the man. And now I'm stuck. Stuck as fuck. So just putting it out there that I knew me and Christopher were not a good match, but when he begged and he was like, oh please, he's like, I don't want to break up, he's like, I love you, he's like, you're amazing. Like I feel like the only reason why we stayed together is because he kept like being like, you're so perfect, like you treat me the best, and just kept on reaffirming like how good of a partner I was. And I didn't really clock it at the time, but he was basically telling me why he don't want me to leave him. He was not saying why we should stay together, you know what I mean? Like I didn't clock that at the time, but in retrospect, he was basically like, "Oh my god, I appreciate you for saying that." Mm, mm. I mean, I am a hustler. I know how to try to do something. You know, I don't want to give myself too much because like I did have help along the way. Like I feel like the whole time that I was going through this situation, I was being candid about how crazy it was, and I was talking about how the mushroom was helping me because again, I found out about the mushroom, and like low key, like the first person that put me on was this like white native lady, and I'm gonna call her white native because baby, if you looked at her, you think she was white. So she was like very much like, oh, I want to help you, but in retrospect, I think she was just trying to get put on or whatever. But I was fucking with her. One day she shorted me though, and I like stopped fucking with her, and I was down bad slightly. But I found the lady that I fuck with now in a comment section, and that lady has only been supportive, and she's white, you know what I mean? She's not white native, and lowest of keys, bitch. Sometimes I'd be looking at these white native folk, I'd be like, y'all need to act a little different, but okay. Anyways, so like I said, like I was heavily on the internet. I was heavily supported. The internet was really going up for me. Like people were supporting my business. People were showing up by, just making sure bitches had gas money, food. Like I don't want to make it seem like people didn't show up for me in that time. I really was letting people know like this happened to me. And again, when the culprit, when the harm doer is a white lady, it's a little bit easier to get support. I'm gonna put that out there right now. Like when a white lady does harm to me, when a white person causes harm to me, the way people will really show up and pop out. And it was wild because I think also like my ex also being harmed. I want to put that out there. My ex being a white man seemingly and being harmed and choosing me and putting my stuff in the car with his stuff and getting us to safety. I personally do believe that's why we were helped so much because I think that there is a part of the internet that is like, don't let these two queer people in love die. Like, don't let these two queer people who are like, so like they seem so connected and so happy and like again like a white person and a light skinned person living in a van. I'ma just take that as a reality that there was a desire on my end to again like showcase like who we were and what we were going through as if that's why we were worthy of the support and care, when the reality is it really shouldn't matter what people are looking like. But I'm not going to be delusional up here. Me and a white man being in a van sleeping in the middle of the fucking pandemic, sweetie, the way that people were like, bitch, share this person's content, share this person's flyer, like there was people rallying, and I do remember that. And I feel like it's unfortunate that like I got to a point where I started feeling like I was self sufficient. I don't know why I felt that, but I started to feel like it's on me to handle, it's on me to figure it out. Not Finkel and Schaefer, bitch, you got me fucking crying. You're funny as hell. Yeah. Listen, again, I was I was scared, but I also was like, this is a manageable situation. I don't know why I thought that, but I was with a man that I knew was not trying to hurt me, just trying to exploit my labor and time, which is hurting me. But I felt safer with Christopher. I'm gonna be fucking so for real. But again, as I start noticing that he's unwilling to help me with the business, it started to make me paranoid and made me think that like, damn, he really want me to be the main one doing all the labor for the business, but he want to benefit, but he don't want to be the one to do anything on his own. And he started a job, like one of his friends like helped him get a job, and this friend had this job for a while. So like at some point one of his friends was like, hey, I can just get you a job where you can start making fucking six figures. And I'm not gonna lie, like when he started working that job, that's when things started getting even crazier for us, because I feel like he started to see that he had a way away. Like he started to see like, like I could just do this for money. I could just, and it was frustrating. I'm not gonna lie, because again, like I'm still doing sex work. I'm loving y'all doing the cross streets of the fucking of Detroit and shit. I'm not gonna lie. Y'all are funny as fuck. Like I'm like Whitney and Jennifer. Y'all are funny as fuck. But yeah. With that being said, so I want to say my energy started being like, help me, bitch. Like, I was being very emphatic with him that I wanted help, I wanted support. And it was around the time that we found housing in like 2022. Because again, we were in vans and motels for 2 years. Like, we went straight up to the top of Michigan, but then at some point we started going west. We never found stable housing in the west. We never found stable housing in Washington, Oregon, none of those states. Just wasn't realistic. No, you're not wrong, Jennifer. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. He was very much used to depending on women. Like when I met him, he had his own apartment, and then like out of nowhere, like when the obviously like the pandemic was happening, his mom was just like, "You want to come home?" And like he's like, "Word, can me and my girlfriend come?" And she's like, "For sure." Like the mom was very excited. In retrospect, it's because she's a narcissist and she wanted new victims. You know what I mean? And it's not even just she's a narcissist; her husband a narcissist, but he bullied her. So she wanted she wanted people to bully. That's what it was. She's like, "Oh no," she's like, "Oh nah, me and my husband stuck in this house, and he bullying me all day. Oh nah, I gotta get me some new people to bully." Like that's what it was giving to me. I'm crying, bitch. Not a unicorn. Y'all are adorable. I'm crying at both. Thank y'all for making me laugh. Thank y'all for just giving the energy y'all are giving. I'm appreciating it. But yeah, like I was saying though, at some point, we're back in Michigan after going on tour, kind of like I went west, thinking I could easily find like some people to connect with in terms of like the mushroom. Like I was like, there gotta be some people out west. Like there gotta be. No, bitch. It was ate up out there. It was very scary out there. I was really shook out there, to be honest, the whole time. And when we ended up going back to Michigan, we ended up finding housing with this trans person. And I'm gonna be real with you. This person, Corey, fuck them for real. They live in Port Huron, and I'm just putting it out there because again, I would really hate for anybody to come in contact with them and get played out. But Corey had us thinking that our rent would be $700, right? They told us for me and my partner to share a bedroom in a two-bedroom apartment, it would be $700. We found out that that rent for the entire fucking apartment was 700 fucking dollars, and this bitch was motherfucking getting free rent off of us. And we didn't know that until the black man downstairs broke silence because they were cool, but then when they weren't cool no more, that's when the downstairs neighbor wanted to tell the tea.
And I'm gonna be real with you. When we found that out, we moved out almost immediately, bitch. We were like, we're not paying another month, bitch. So bye. And I'm not gonna lie, that bitch face was cracked. Like the bitch was like, cause I want to say it was like maybe the 27th or some shit, and we were like, sweetie, we moving out. Peace out, ho. But I want to say that week that I told Corey that we're moving out, I told Christopher, I'm actually not going to bring you with me. Like, I was like, the fact that this white man, or this white man, no shade. The fact that this white man fucking just robbed us both, like, and, like, I also want to say Christopher had lost the damn job at that point and didn't know what the fuck he was about to do and was comfortable. Like he wasn't like I felt like he lost his job where and baby he worked from home. He worked on a headset. So it was a situation where it was like, girl, like you lost the headset job where you just have to like log into like okay. And so it was just kind of like, yeah, I'm not living in a van again. That's what my energy was. And so I got on Craigslist, started looking. Somebody said that they was offering a couch for like $200 a month or some shit in a trailer. Bitch, I said fuck it. I know that sounds crazy to somebody, but bitch, I didn't have that much stuff, and I was like, I don't want to live in Port Huron no more. I moved to Madison Heights, paid $200 to live on somebody's trailer couch. I know that sounds crazy. I don't care, bitch. That's what I did. Again, I was by myself. I was packed light, and so I was like, I'm gonna make it work. This person helped me with my business for a bit, and they also gave me my TV that I got. But I want to say the grimy thing with them is that they were going through a lot. I didn't really think about it, but renting out your couch in a trailer is not a good look. Like you really are going through something. I didn't think about it like that. When I got the when it went down, I'm thinking, and I hate that I thought this, but I'm thinking that they're doing better than me. I dead ass thought they were doing better than me. I mean, no shade. I wasn't really thinking clearly, right? I was in survival mode. But I'm thinking that they're doing better than me, so I'm just kind of like I'm renting on this couch. You listen, I was sleeping on the couch. I paid $200. They weren't asking me for utilities. I was cooking. I was ordering Door Dashes and things of that nature. Sometimes I would share with them. Sometimes I wouldn't. They didn't cook too much either, and they had two cats, so I would help them with their like feeding their cats and shit like that. So like it was very much just like a queer person who had a job but didn't make that much money and needed some help. It was working out. They had a bestie named Star. The person I was living with name was Charles. Me and Charles was a trans man. And this was the second trans man that I had lived with because the first one was Corey. So Corey, this trans man, was playing me with the money. And then I move in with this other trans man named Charles, and I'm sleeping on his couch. And I'm trying to figure out a more permanent housing living on that couch. I wasn't like, oh, I'm gonna live on this couch forever. It was very much like I just need a couple weeks on a couch, maybe 2 months at most, but I'm gonna figure it out. Like I'm not gonna rely on a man no more. I'm away from my ex. I'm no longer like I'm just trying to fucking be on my own, kinda, I guess. And so I'm living on this couch, and I meet Charles' friend Star. Star is like this white person who is in an abusive relationship, and I didn't realize it until I started watching more TikToks. I'm gonna be so fucking for real. But they started describing a situation where their ex was, they said, stopping drinking as much, but they started getting meaner. Like they were like, my ex used to be nice when they was drunk, but now that they're not getting sober, they're getting mean to me. And I said, Star, you need to leave. I told her that. Like, and I feel bad in retrospect because I'm realizing, like, you can't tell everybody everything you think. Like as much as I wanted to help her, I should have just shut the fuck up in retrospect. But I feel like that moment really started the downfall in our friendship because me and Star wasn't really friends. But like I really do believe that like this is what kind of like stopped us from being cool. Like I really came at her like I knew her situation and I knew what to do and like I should have just been like, "Oh wow, that's fucked up. You deserve better," and just left it at that. Instead, I really started telling her like, "You got to get out of there." Like I was like, "It's about to get bad." I was like, "I'm worried for you." And so she kind of like was looking at me like I was a crazy bitch. And so I was like, "Well, you know what? I just be renting a couch. I'm just renting a couch. Like who am I, right?" So I end up moving out of this couch situation, but in the moment of moving out, like in the moving out process was very strange because I had basically told people that I needed a place to move and I basically was offered a house, but I was also offered a room to rent. And the house was more than the room, obviously. But I was like, you know what? I'm just one person. And I did not want to get a whole house for myself at the time because I was just intimidated as fuck. Like in retrospect, bitch, imagine getting a whole house for $700 a month. That's crazy. But at the same time, I did not know what to do with a whole house. I was coming off living on a couch. I was coming off being single for the first time in a while. And so I was like, I'm terrified of trying to fill that house with people, with animals. You know what I mean? I just was like, damn, bitch, I could see me getting lonely in a house. So I said no to the house. Now I want to give some background on the house. The house was sitting next to the woman Erin that I was living with that had the baby, and so, and they live in Detroit, and so I didn't know Erin like that. I knew she knew people that were activists in the city, people that knew me online seemingly. And so the house offer was exciting. Not nobody should get a house. I'm crying. Yo, Jennifer, definitely. I'm glad to hear that. I know. Again, at the time, I was terrified because I wasn't ready for a house. I wasn't ready though. And to be honest, in retrospect, I'm glad I didn't take the house because I'm gonna go into the Erin shit too. So Erin was offering me a house next to her house. And then Heather, the disabled white lady, was offering me a room in her house where she makes salves, tinctures. She's a medicine woman. And so in my mind, I'm like, this is the better option. I'd be living in a house that has people in it. They're into herbs, they're into holistic medicine. In my mind, it was a no-brainer to be honest with you because again, cheaper rent and more benefits. Like I'd be having to make that house a home. In the situation with Heather, I'm like, I'm coming into a home. So keep in mind, Heather's aware of what I do for work and she's benefiting from it. Like, whenever she wants to smoke some weed, she's popping up on me like, oh, do you have any weed for like mental health? Like, always popping up on me, being like, do you have any weed for back pain? Oh, do you know about this or that? Like, she was really tapping me for information. And I'm not gonna lie, that made me feel good as fuck. Like, it made me feel good that like an elder was like seeing me as like really smart. And so I feel like part of the relationship was flattery. Part of the relationship was apprenticeship because again, I now know how to make a lot of things that I didn't know how to make before. I know how to do a lot of things that I didn't know how to do before. And it's because she was very generous with information and her magical tools. She really did not ever trip on me about anything as much as I was using honey and jars and sieves and pips, like all types of things that I had access to. So I do not want to make it seem like I didn't benefit from living with Heather. I definitely did. However, when I was trying to move out, exactly, when I was trying to move out of Charles's couch, Star reveals that her ex, the one who was an alcoholic and who was being mean to her, in the middle of her at like she went to a doctor's appointment, came home, everything's gone except for her things and her dog. And I'm about to move off this couch. Charles is like, I have to help my friend Star and knows about this house. I tell Erin what happened to Star. I'm like, Star was abandoned. Her partner disappeared on her, moved out of the house, left her behind. Charles is renting me his couch. He's about to maybe get evicted. He's not going to be able to move forward in life. I'm over here. Keep in mind, I'm moving off this couch into a house that I'm about to, be a part of. And so all I can think is, oh, that house that I passed up, 700 a month. You both get a price, y'all both get a rent cut. You both are about to pay $350. See, that's the thing. Now, most people probably, I don't want to say most people, but I feel like people might be like, yeah, that's on them to figure it out. Again, because I was able to rent the couch, because Charles then gave me a TV. I had a PlayStation but no TV, and I was actually did Charles give me the PlayStation? I don't know who gave me the PlayStation, but I got a PlayStation I think from Charles as well. I'm not sure, maybe. I can't remember. Maybe it was my ex's. I can't remember, but I had a PlayStation but no TV, and so he gave me the TV. And so, keep in mind, like Me at that point, me and Charles wasn't having no beef. Me and Star wasn't having no beef. There was no drama with anybody really. Like we were all doing well. However, I do think that there was this energy of like, you know, Honeybee got us this house, and I feel like they felt kind of away. You know what I mean? I feel like me being like, oh, I know how to help y'all. I don't think they ever really liked that. Like there's a part of me that feels like they didn't really appreciate that, you know? Again, my thought process is when I needed a couch to sleep on, I needed somewhere to go, they were there for me. I That's my thought process on everything. Like if there's a way, like Capricorn Stellium, Capricorn's motto is I use. I knew that I was gonna be using someone else's house. Why couldn't they use someone else's house too? Like again, that was my thought process. It was just like, yeah, the sex working Sims. I'm fucking crying, bitch. Listen, I love Sims. Oh my god. Low key, Dane has a computer and said I can play Sims on his computer and doesn't give a shit. So we might get Sim streams again. And I'm really excited. Unrelated to everything. So getting back to my story. So I'm moving out of Charles's house. I'm moving out of a trailer park into a nice neighborhood in like Hazel Park. And Star and Charles are about to move in Detroit into a house. You know what? I agree with you, Jennifer. I feel like they felt comfortable with me being a homeless bitch on a couch. I don't think they liked me being a bitch that was directing resources. I think that really disgusted them that I was seemingly being helped. But I think that that's the thing is like by not being a black person and being a mixed person, I am privileged in lots of ways. But when white people interact with me and they see the ways that my privilege is showing up, I do think that there's some jealousy there because I don't think that they have the language, but I think they know like you're the least oppressed black person. Like I think that that's what they think. Like, oh, you don't deserve it as much as someone deep dark skin, and that's true. But the way that they, and I might even be being dramatic, like maybe they don't even think that deeply, but I think that they know that like in the context of like anti-blackness, I'm not experiencing it the worst, and perhaps there's a desire for them to make me experience some. Like maybe it's like low key a thing that that happens to white people, like on some fucking like on some socialization shit. Like they see someone not white having a good time and they're like, that ain't supposed to be happening. Or they see somebody light skinned having a bad time and they think that ain't supposed to be happening. Like there's just times where I wonder like how much of the behavior we are. Listen, some of y'all want to talk about certain things and you're just gonna get hidden on the channel, okay? I love you. You know what? I appreciate you for saying that genuinely. Like I really do appreciate you for saying that like people want that. You know what, Whitney, you're not wrong. You're not wrong. I appreciate everybody for being outraged and disgusted and for sounding off because again, when white people are interacting with me, I do feel like there's this vibe of like I want to help you so bad. And I wonder like is it because you want to help people or because you think that this is the way to like not be such a white racist? You know? Like there's definitely moments where I'm just like, like that's what I'm sitting with now. That like maybe I never really had white friends. Maybe I had white people that felt like they were gonna be my charity or I was their charity case. Who knows? I'm glad that everybody's a comedian and everybody gets to say what they want to say. I'm so excited. I'm so excited to hide you from my channel. Yes, feel free to say whatever you want to say. Ooh, Dominique is awake. Ayo. Yo, we hit and timed them out. Ayo. Yeah, Whitney, I appreciate for saying that. Again, I'm really in my period of realizing things, like holding space. I'm glad everybody is smoking if they are. But again, getting back to it, so and again, these are things that I'm realizing in retrospect, bitch, I was fucked up. Exactly, Jennifer. Exactly, exactly. So again, I'm really sitting with the reality that like there may be times where people were like upset with me because they're like, damn, they're like you're talking about what's happening to you and then you're getting support, and meanwhile I'm going through this thing, and people aren't supporting me, and it's not because you don't deserve it. It's because I have a platform, I have more privilege to be seen, and so that's why I have been trying to uplift mutual aid of people that obviously are not getting the support. If they were, they wouldn't reach out to me. So with that being said, like I'm trying to like ask and offer opportunity so people don't have to be like, hey, can you help me? Because honestly, like having to ask for support is very hard for most people. But for me, someone who has some aspect of privilege, not some aspect, I have privileges. And because I have privileges, it makes it a little bit easier for me to be like, hey, like this shouldn't be happening. Whereas there are some people who have been harmed to the point where it's happening so much that it's almost like to say, hey, this shouldn't be happening to me is almost like admitting that the system is harming you in a way to where other people who may or may not be able to see it can then be like, well, do this or do that. Like people might offer you advice that really is not advice. They might just derail you. They might just like actually gaslight you and then also harm you and you're already being harmed. So I just want to hold that. I haven't always held that. I haven't always sat with that reality or that the impact of how being privileged means that you're kind of put in a position to be helped automatically because people do see you in a certain position in life even if you're not there. So the ways that like we at times perhaps assume that it makes sense that this white person is in power when it really doesn't. But the same can be said for some light skinned people in positions of power, or rather, the same can be said for light skinned people in some position of power that, like, there's an assumption that that's where we deserve to be. So if we're not there, how can someone help us get back? And so I think about how there have been moments where, I've told people, like, what I'm going through and they're showing up for me, but there are moments where I'm wondering like, oh, are people always showing up because they want to or because they believe that I belong somewhere and they're gonna help me get there? Aw, bitch, I wish I would have chilled with y'all too. I hope you're having a good morning, Dominique. Um, yeah, again, I'm not trying to make it seem like I've always known or held any of this, and honestly, knowing things takes experience, and so I think I'm just trying to experience. I'm trying to share my experiences with you so that y'all can hear how I know stuff, if that makes sense, or ask questions to the collective based on experience to just hear y'all experiences as well if y'all want to share them. I also wanted to offer that like there is an option for me to go live with people. So if there's ever anybody who's feeling like they want to break silence on some abuse or harm that's happened, or just something that's unfolded, I really do want to start to like just hold this as a space where like we're just like sharing shit that people may not want to hear, but I think hearing it can actually shift some behavior. I know for me, watching some of my old lives back, I'm able to, just actually hold myself with some humanity and some empathy. And so I'm just really grateful that folks actually share their honest truth here. Even if some of y'all be like feeling like you're doing too much, just please know that a text can never be too loud. I just want to put that out there. Free Palestine always. Free Palestine always. Um, but yeah, getting back to my story though. So Star was abandoned by her partner. Charles rent was going wild. Jennifer, I'm sorry to hear that, and I'm glad to hear that you are housed. Truly, truly happy to hear that. Yeah, I'm not going back to Kentucky. I'm actually kind of scared to go back to NOLA, to be honest with you, because I can't imagine what's going on over there. Like my heart goes out to anybody in the South right now, just because the cost of living in the North is like so high that I've seen some very, very troubling things. Like I've seen some very troubling things out here. And so I can only imagine what it's like in the more rural places where the price point for me as a northerner has always seemed so low. Like I remember going to the South being like, I'm in heaven. Like I remember going to the South and being like, my God. And I'm sure some people in the South can relate to like seeing northern bitches come south and like use their northern money in the South. And I feel like that's what my family did too. Like my grandfather left the South, came north, found a woman with a northern pension, and went back south. Used her pension to buy land, buy a house, outlived her, and now hoards his wealth. Like my grandpa could easily help me. Like that's the gag of it all. My whole family side on my grandpa's whole family, all the family on my mama's side that's not connected to my mom. But the gag is my mom and her brothers and sisters are the side family of my grandfather. So I'm now realizing that part of the poverty in my life has been because the family don't fuck with us like that. I'm part of the quadroon line that my grandfather created with his northern partner. The southern children stayed in the south. The family that raised my grandfather wasn't about to abandon his brown children down there. So from what I've noticed, a lot of us, like the kids of the kids, like our grandmother, like my grandma Betty, she was cool, but she was cool because like that's her son. You know what I mean? Like her son, she gonna understand. But it's the way that I never met my grandfather's first family. I recently met my aunt Cynthia recently, my grandfather's first daughter. And I only recently met her because my mom would always say that they had beef. And in retrospect, it's like, did y'all have beef or did her father abandon her family for your family? Like, your mom got chose to be the wife because she had more money, it seems. Like, in retrospect, my grandmother was a nurse, she was an RN, and so she was also working at a lunch counter at some point. So I truly believe that my grandfather knew that my grandmother wanted to get into the nursing field, and I think he knew like there's money there. I also think my grandfather left New York, left the South to move to New York for a job opportunity, but ended up leaving his wife because I truly believe he was married and went north to like bring back some money and then brought back a white lady. Like that's what I really truly believe happened. Ain't nobody told me that, but it don't add up. Like nothing adds up. Like all the timelines don't make sense. So I'm like, I really think that's what happened. He went up there, found a new wife, came back and was like divorced. And in the South, especially what my grandpa's like, shit, 90. Let's say he did this shit 70 years ago. We talking about 1950. Yeah, he probably was able to go back to the South with a whole new bitch and be like, yeah, I'm trying to get divorced and married today. It was probably a divorce Mary. Mm-hmm. Yeah, right. He might not even have needed to go back south. He might not have even needed to go back south. So that's the other thing too. Is like I never hear about that woman that he's been with. Don't know her name, nothing. But I kind of want to do a little search because I'm sure it must. Because I did my ancestry test, right? I did. So he must have. I just never looked at my grandpa. I never looked deep into him. That's wild. I appreciate you for saying that because I never thought about that deeply. But again, I want to get back into it because I keep on going off the story. So, like I said, Star got abandoned. Charles is about to get evicted. I was sleeping on Charles's couch. I'm about to move into this white woman's house who's like a herbologist, and she does all types of herbology. She does classes. Like I'm about to move into a house that has so many magical tools. Like in my mind, I'm like, oh, the universe really busting wide open for me, and so I'm over here looking like, thank you, CEO Fresh. But I'm looking at my new housing. So the house that Aaron had offered me, I'm like, yo, of course y'all could take over the house. Like in my mind, everybody winning. That's what I'm thinking. I'm genuinely thinking, you know what? I'm gonna survive, and y'all are gonna survive. We're all gonna survive. That's really my energy coming out of that situation. I never felt like sleeping on that couch, I was a burden. Me and Charles really didn't have no issues, but I do think that, like me and Star, when I told her that she should leave her partner before he abandoned her, I think that always stuck with her. And I think that when he really did leave, when he really moved out, I think that made her even more mad at me because I think she was like, not the bitch was right and I was mad. I really think, again, sometimes, bitch, it's not that you said the wrong thing, really. It's that that person did not want to hold the shame yet. And I truly believe that that's why I'm not about to just, in every situation, talk to somebody about their behavior because sometimes that's what it is. Like they're full of shame. So they just, what up, Rand? Whitney, I'm not trying to be nothing. I'm just trying to like not cause harm. Like that's my real thought process is like, how can I reduce the harm that anyone's experiencing? And again, it's because of the own harm I've experienced. I don't want to go through harm no more. And so my thought process is if I don't show up, if I don't come through harming you, maybe you will see that you don't have to harm me either. Maybe through my behavior. And I know now that that's not the case. I know now through experience, not everybody can handle how soft you can be. Not everybody can handle how kind and how generous and how gentle you will be with them. And again, like when you bring up something that's harming you or you bring up something that has harmed you, some people just don't want to feel that pain of knowing that they were wrong or they did something fucked up. And like again, I can empathize greatly because I've definitely felt like that. Like this past couple months, like this whole year, like since October, like I really just felt like intense shame. I felt like I'm not getting it. Like I felt like I'm not doing right. And I'm not trying to like weaponize my tears. I'm just trying to be genuine that like I've been so fucking worried. Like so fucking worried. Like so fucking worried. And like I didn't know how to tell anybody because I'm not supposed to be worried, right? I'm supposed to be confident. I'm supposed to be just like doing all the things and like the ways that I just didn't want to let myself be a person and be hurting, be fucking scared, be fucking out of sorts, be feeling crazy. Like I just didn't want to be in that headspace, and I didn't want anyone to lose confidence in me, either because of what I do for work. Like I didn't want anyone to be scared or worried. I wanted to give this air of like I got it, and I think like again when I was leaving that couch, I'm like, there's no way that like everything's not about to turn around. Like I'm moving into a place that literally has everything I need. So, and then also the people that just help me, they're getting help too. So I'm like, not an angel. You're so fucking sweet. I feel like again, I think I've just unfortunately I was raised by a narcissist, so the desire to be good is so heavy in me. Like the desire to like not be the bad one and to not for it to not be my fault. For me to actually be like the one that did the right thing, like that's so heavy in me. And it's hypervigilance. It's actually trauma, like which is really sad, but like realizing that like no, I'm not an empath. I'm terrified of getting hurt. I'm terrified of doing something wrong. I'm terrified that someone's gonna cause harm to me. So I try to preemptively do kindnesses so people do not harm me. And people may see it as people pleasing, perhaps, but I genuinely feel like, bitch, like there's just so much fucking lack in the world that if I got it, I wanna share it. Now I can feel like that and still know that like in some ways I do know that like sometimes people are just they're not able, as I said, they can't sit with their shame. And so sometimes I truly think me sharing with someone or being kind to them will literally make them feel shame. And I feel like that's the thing that always blew my mind and I am still trying to sit with. That like sometimes you give someone an easy way out. You like give someone something easy and they're like, oh hell no. Like and it's crazy to think about. But it's like sometimes like people will feel shame when you think you should be feeling grateful, but like they can't feel that yet. That's true. That's true. And that's what I'm saying, Whitney. That's what I'm saying. Like sometimes, like me putting in like so much goodness has been why I truly think the universe don't let me fall all the way down on the motherfucking stones and scrape my whole shit off. Like I really think that like I'm spared a lot of times because my energy was going into it not to hurt anyone. So for someone to think that I'm trying to harm them, a lot of times I'm like, all right, I have to hold that. Some people see a rose as a knife. Like I've been there. I've seen people offering me kindness in retrospect and been like, damn, they were trying to do something nice. But I wasn't ready to sit with my shame. So it didn't matter how nice you came at me. I didn't want to sit with shame. So that's why that kind of blew my mind that like you could really be sweet to someone and they feel like they don't deserve that. And they'll try to get what they think they truly deserve, which is fighting, anger, malice. You know what I mean? It's fucked up, but sometimes I really think like we don't realize that like we don't feel worthy of kindness. We don't feel worthy of a break. So word. I feel like even charging me $200 to sleep on your couch, I feel like in retrospect that was like I need that 200 badly, probably need more than that. And again, would I smoke them out? Would I give them a cart every now and then? Of course. Like, I feel like if anyone's ever helped me with my business, they can't say I robbed them or played them at all. All they can say is the bitch made sure I ain't had to worry about weed, made sure I ain't had to worry about a cart, a vape, of nothing. So with that being said, I already know that I blessed them, but at the same time, they blessed me. So I just like to know that in the end, I did what I could. You know what I mean? I don't like to be feeling like I ain't did nothing for your ass. So again, when the house wasn't gonna work out, I said y'all could get the house. So I live with this white lady and I wish I had a time frame for this. I wish I do. All I know is I got kicked out in October, but I spent the summer living in that house. And I'll tell y'all right now, the day that they were supposed to move into this house, I'll never forget this. I was already living in my new housing. I was already living with the white lady with the herbs and shit. And we were supposed to go all together for them to go move into this house. And this part I literally tried to gloss over clearly, but keep in mind, I was offered a house by this white Latino person who had a brown baby. And they were basically like, I bought this lot of land. It had two houses on it. I'm only living in one house. The second house is available. And if you want, you got it. And I was like, oh shit, that's hella nice. She wasn't, I don't think she even came up with a price. Like, I think she was basically like, if you need somewhere to stay, and then we can figure it out. And so I was hella grateful. Again, y'all see call me nasty. That's the transphobia. That's the transphobia I be talking about. Like, people think that my voice is too deep to be a girl. So it's just, again, it's like, that's why I don't invest too much in it. It's like, yeah, I'll dress up or whatever for safety, but like the idea that like there's some voice for a woman, so strange. Like, it's the way that men want to dominate you even when you're talking and you're not doing anything really, right? But the way that your voice could be offensive or could be not womanly. Wow. Funny. But I also think, like, when I watch my old videos about how much I performed like a higher pitch, like, even though yes I smoke and you can hear that I smoke, when I was younger, like, I absolutely would try to talk in a higher pitch voice for sure, because I could, like, whenever I didn't perform like vocal femininity, I like people would be like I just noticed like the way that I'd be like if I talked in like I just feel like I had to perform in a particular way, and I just don't think that now. What up, Azzy? I hope you're doing well. But yeah, getting back into it though. So the day that these two white people are trying to move into this house, they fight me. Like, they verbally attack me. And see, that's bullshit too. They verbally attack me in front of my new housing. Keep in mind, I'm living here. I'm coming, like, also, I was running late. I don't know why, bitch. It just happens to me a lot. I'm afflicted. I have lateness as an illness. And so they were frustrated with me because I wasn't on time for this meeting for them to get this house. And I pretty much just thank you so much, baby. We love you. Thank you, Dominique. You're amazing. But they basically verbally assaulted me on my fucking front lawn because I wasn't hurrying up enough. Like, they literally cussed me out and were making it seem like I'm gonna make them lose this house. And keep in mind, the house was given to me. I was the one who hooked it up to where they were gonna get it. So, like, for them to start cussing me out, like me being late for the meeting was what was gonna fuck them up. Obviously, they needed housing immediately, like, very obvious that they like needed support immediately. But the way that they like verbally assaulted me, they like at one point Charles ordered me to get in the car, and I said no. I said I will not get in the car. I said if y'all want to get that house, you're on your own. And I went back in the house and I didn't tell anybody. In retrospect, yeah, I could have called Aaron and been like, "Hey, like, they're abusive. Don't get them a house." You know what I mean? I could have done that. But I did not feel like that was the right move at the time. I felt like at the time, you know, from what I got from how they were being, I was like, "Oh my God, like, they really thought like I was going to somehow botch their housing." Like, I felt bad for them. I was like, damn, like, they really thought they were gonna be down bad to the point where they thought abusing me, the person that helped them, was made sense. I gave mercy to their ass. yeah, I just went home. I literally was like standing in front of their car like bye, and I went back inside because it's like no, again, like their attitude was just so angry, as if like I was stopping them. And again, I was ready to go and everything, but the way they were behaving was like I was like some fucking rat. It's like they had never talked to me like that when I lived with them. I want to put that out there right now. They had never talked to me crazy when I slept literally feet away from them. But somehow I don't live in your house anymore, and now you think you can unleash anger onto me. Like they were very mean, and they were making it seem like I was the reason why they weren't gonna get housing. Like they literally were saying shit like that, like you're gonna make us lose the house. And I was like, how? I was like, Aaron's cool as fuck. Like that's what I kept saying. I was like, Aaron's cool. I was like, we're not holding them up. I'm like Aaron literally doesn't work. Like their parent, like is if they're another one of those white people that parent bought them like land and like they just gotta figure out how to maintain it. And like that's why they were like, oh yeah, like you can live in this house because I think like yeah, it was $700 for the house. So I was kind of just like, eh. Again, I was never trying to stop them from being housed, and I feel like that's the thing. I was thinking about how when they tell this story, they have to be honest about how even though they cussed me out, even though they were mean to me, they still got housing. They're still good. Like I like that was my whole like that's why I didn't do anything because it's like you could say whatever you want about me, but bitch, where you at right now? Like who unselfishly made sure you was good? Even when you were ugly to me, who made sure you was good? That's all I had. You know what I mean? That's it. No, it's wild as fuck. But again, I literally was like, y'all got a house though. Like, you can say whatever you want about me, bitch. I don't care. Like, go ahead. So, anyways, I'm living with this white lady. Everything's going fine, seemingly. But I'm gonna be real with you. The fucking trans woman who is like the wife of the woman I'm living with is like allowed free reign of the house, even though she has her own house with her mom. But she stayed coming over the house. And in my honest opinion, like, I could tell almost immediately that, bitch, I don't wanna do too much, but I just feel like I could tell my roommate Heather, she was lonely. Like I don't think that she was married to that trans woman because she loved her. It was giving like this is the best I can get. And to be honest, the trans woman was exploiting her in my honest opinion and was getting two houses and was getting a lot of access to like medical care, medicinal herbs. And also Heather, from what I've noticed, like she knows where to go. Like she has so much authority being an older herbalist and also having a mom with money. Like her mom is a Virgo and she's a Libra. And so Libras already like seem like really good people. Like no shade, but like they have great PR. They also are always operating in like a we kind of energy. So like they automatically seem like community and companions easily. And so she, I genuinely believe, was being taken advantage of by this white trans woman who she was married to, but that's none of my motherfucking business. But because I could see the relationship being exploitative, like for instance, sometimes the basement where there was like it was a finished basement, sometimes the trans woman wife, who again had her own house, would be on some oh you can't be hanging out down there because I want to be down there. And it's like, okay, like, but I never knew when that was. It's not like she had a set time. It just felt like she really liked being able to take away like a private space for me to hang out. Because for the most part, my disabled roommate, Heather, would be in the living room. She'd come out of her bedroom, and the living room was where she hung out mostly. So the finished basement was really the only other social space outside of the kitchen table and sitting outside. And it was hot, bitch. So there'd be times where, of course, I want to sit in the cool basement where there's a TV and a cozy couch with my friends or a love interest. So there were just moments where I felt like the wife would like go out of her way to be like, oh, like I need this space. Keep in mind, she got her own house and she got a wife sitting in the living room. Y'all could take over that whole area. But again, I just feel like the wife was using Heather's house as like a hangout and using her mother house as like a hold all my shit. Very fascinating in retrospect. One day, the wife of my part of that one day, Heather's wife, Vanessa, went into my room and was talking about things that were going on in my room that they didn't like. And it was awkward because keep in mind, my roommate's wife, who has her own house, for some reason just went into my bedroom. She decided to then tell me that the way I was keeping my bedroom was problematic and do 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 do. And I'm gonna be real with you. I had a lot of boxes in my room, a lot of papers in my room. My room was looking kind of scattered. Again, this is me just trying to explain that at this point, obviously, for the past few months, I've been running the business by myself, meaning everything that I needed to run my business was in my bedroom. Everything. I had my closet wasn't full of clothes. Like, I barely had clothes. All my clothes were like in a basket or they were on the floor. Like, I literally was not coping well. I was looking crazy as fuck. I'm not gonna make it seem like my room was reasonable. At the same time, them going into my room and making it seem like all of the clutter, all that was happening in my room was problematic, was really frustrating because it felt like, damn, if you would have told me there was an inspection, I would have definitely did something. But the fact that you popped into my room as a just a oh let me see what's going on in here to try to like fuck with me was weird. And so there was a house meeting about my room, and basically they were trying to make it seem like they were wanting to push me out of the space, and I had just paid rent as well. And it was very awkward because I had just paid rent and then this happened. And so I told Heather very plainly, I was like, you know, Heather, I was like, your partner violated me by going in my room in the first place, by them being the one to bring it up to me. Like, this is all very messy and strange. But I was like, it's okay. I just want my rent back and I'll get out of here. Because at that point, Aaron had told me, like, you can move into, you know, the playroom in my kid's house. Now, I want to also say that, like, Aaron had upstairs in her house that was unrented and was available. And then also there was the house next door where the two white people were living. So, exactly. Here's my thing. I don't want to make it seem like my room wasn't messy. It really was. Like, it was crazy in there. But was it like food trash or like weird shit? No. Were there carpet stains? No. There was just a lot of stuff everywhere. And it was honestly overwhelming as fuck. But with that being said, I was still trying to figure out how to run this business on my own. And a lot of the mistakes that I made were, you know, they were my own, but I did not expect for a white bitch to go into my room and try to make it seem as if my room was looking crazy. And then the way that she like made it seem to my roommate, because I don't think my roommate ever even saw my room. I think my roommate just was hearing what that their wife said, and just went with it. And so, with that being said, I also want to put an asterisk here that like I reached out to someone like I this is a good place to do an asterisk low key, mainly because like there's more information around that. I recently saw that Heather was doing an event somewhere, and I reached out and I said, you know, I was like, I really hate doing this, but I really don't think you should be supporting her. I was like, I understand that she's a disabled queer person who is offering, you know, medicine work, but I just don't believe that she is the right person for, you know, doing anything with the public. I just don't believe that she's a good person. And, you know, this person said to me straight up, they were like, you know, we didn't get enough people buying tickets. And so we actually canceled her event. But good to know because we will not be booking her in the future. And I told them what had happened with the housing shit. And what I was told was that they were a part of a housing group with her, and that they thought it was very strange how many people were moving in and out of that house, and that their turnover rate was insane, and that they will be bringing this up to the housing group. So I just want to put it out there that like this is probably not isolated. Vanessa probably has looked in other people's rooms or just intimidated them out of the space, but it is now becoming more obvious seemingly to people outside of me. So that's another reason why I'm telling this story, because again, Heather Hall, if you look her up, I don't know what her business is called anymore. I don't fucking forgot. But she basically is a fake ass white witch, who's a weirdo, and she continuously lets her partner bully people out of her house. Exactly. Exactly. Seed to harvest. Exactly. Yes, wards. Yes, I was definitely being treated like a ward. Keep in mind, me and Heather do very similar business. We both work with herbs, we both work with natural medicine. And so, me and Heather, I believed we're building a friendship. And so, on my way out, I was really like letting her know, like, Heather, you're looking fucking nuts. Like this, your partner has their own house. You're gonna let them do this? Like this is your blessing from your mother. Like I'm letting them know. Like I'm like your son Crispin. He's gonna be marked by this. Like, you're fucking up his life. Like, in the future, you dumb bitch. Like, I'm like, Crispin acts like a fucking normal person. And now I know, like, you're, like, actually enabling so much abuse around him. Wow. Like, I literally was just shaming her. Because I was like, bitch, I was like, I have somewhere to go. But, goddamn, like, if I didn't have nowhere to go, dog. No, she's very lonely. Like, again, she's married to that woman out of convenience. And the saddest part is I think she thinks Vanessa's looking out for her. I also want to say Vanessa recently changed her name to Vanessa. It was Chance for a while, and now it's Vanessa. And I just want to be candid that like Vanessa is a trans woman who does not pass. She actively is operating and looking like a man, a cis man every day, but does use she her pronouns and has decided to be an intimidating white trans woman like outside of like everything else, like just decided to just be weird. Seafoam green. So again, I just want to put it out there that I think that also ties into my critique with Nat, the person I was living with here. Like they use any pronouns other than he him, but like operate and present as a cis man, and then also like will put on a dress and still be fucking harming femmes and like be using femmes. So it's really fucked up. I'm from Connecticut. Her trans wife is giving male patriarchal complex indeed. I also feel like Vanessa was jealous of me and Heather's relationship because I think Heather wanted to be with me, but Heather revealed some medical stuff to me that had me just deciding to choose me. And I mean that with so much love. I feel like for the people out there who have things going on with them. Again, I don't want it to seem ableist because I don't want it to seem like it was like a disability. It was more that like she was someone that had uh and see, I don't want to be putting out all her business, but I'll just say that like there was a moment where she was like feeling me and she revealed something to me that had me be like, you know what? I don't think I can engage with you in this way. Not to say that like I wasn't ever attracted to her or I never thought she was good looking or anything. It was more so that like she really was just a mess it seemed, and I just feel like as she revealed things I was just kind of like, damn bitch, like now I see why you're low-key stuck seemingly with this person. So there was a part of me that felt like listen, people are weaponizing trans identity all the time and it's very awkward, but it's also very much white people, I'm noticing. So so here we go, got a nut for a cookie, you got me crying. So anyways, yeah, no, she did. Vanessa did want full control of Heather. That is true, and I think that I was like that person that was like telling Heather like, Vanessa, she's not that nice. Like, I don't know. I just feel like I never really dragged Vanessa, but I was not cool with her. What up, Diamond? And I really feel like Vanessa knew I wasn't cool with her. And so I do think Vanessa was paranoid about what I was saying about her. But I really just focused on telling Heather, like, she can do better and she can live life. I don't know. I want to visit my friend in New York, but I'm not sure when that's going to be. With that being said, so Heather, Vanessa, that situation, I'm gonna table that to go back into the house situation. So I get put out of Heather's house basically, and I go to live at Aaron's house. I'm living in Aaron's playroom, and she had an apartment upstairs. But I want to say that the entire time I was there, she had been talking to this white woman named Mel, who was supposed to move in there but was taking her time. We'll say that there was never an opportunity for me to move into that apartment. We'll say that. But for the most part, I was living in a child's playroom and I was trying to just figure out what the fuck I was going to do next. And I honestly didn't know. And because I've been running this business for 3 years, my mindset was like, well, it'll all figure out and all balance out. Because in my mind, I'm like, well, I've been running this business for so long, like it should figure itself out. Like again, like ever since I started the business, it never stopped running. And so, like I said, the day that I became houseless in Ohio is the day that I became a business owner. So I kind of never stopped doing my business no matter what. All of this shit's happening and I'm still like putting up menus trying to motherfucking survive, bitch. And as far as I'm concerned, this is how I'm gonna survive. And so I'm living in Erin's house trying to do my thing, and this white woman moves into her house. And I want to say almost immediately it became obvious that this white woman was one of those white women who really needed a black best friend or a brown best friend. Like she really needed access to like a brown person as a lackey, it seemed, because I remember like hanging out with her and she had this brown girl who was biracial hanging out with her, and just the way that she would talk about how they were frenemies, and like she just had this like energy of like, we're cool but we're not, like it was just awkward. And so I just remember thinking to myself like, I Mel never really gave me like a white lady I'm gonna be besties with. But in the beginning, she was showing me a cool food places. She was just like seemingly like a cool fat lady. She was also into like she was one of those hockey white ladies. Like she would be going to the roller rink and shit like that. So I just felt like, oh damn, like this is one of those fat white ladies that's athletical. Like I was like, oh, and she was a Gemini. So I was, Geminis be out, they be doing their thing. So I was like, oh, I'm about to link up with her sometimes. But again, the way that her and the brown girl was vibing, I just didn't like their friendship, and I was just like, no. And so I kind of like ghosted on her a little bit. And the thing about ghosting on a bitch that lives in your house, it's very obvious. And I just feel like instead of her just realizing we wasn't like compatible, she just started trying to fucking make it seem like me and her had beef to Erin, the bitch who's helping me live with her. So somehow, like, I ended up having a beef with Mel, even though I don't know her and I don't care about her. Like, somehow me and her had beef. And it was awkward because I feel like she was trying to, like, I personally, in retrospect, I think Erin was talking shit about me being at her house for so long. And I think Mel was trying to, like, be, like, the moving force of, like, everything. And I think Mel thought she could intimidate me out the space. And when it didn't work, I just think that, I just genuinely think that Erin didn't want to be the one to try to push me out. I think Erin wanted to have the white lady be the one because then she could have plausible deniability. Like if Mel starts a beef with me, and then Mel, who pays rent to live upstairs, has a beef with me, of course I have to leave, right? Because I'm not paying to live there. And so the energy was just giving like planned attack in retrospect. Yeah, again, my energy was very much just like, okay, so this white lady doesn't like me upstairs and now I have to move out, I guess. And the whole time, like, I'm living next door to a house that I was supposed to get. And the two white people who are living in that house know that I'm homeless. And they could easily let me rent one of the rooms in that house. Do you think that they care? That was honestly a moment. Like see like the when the white people seen me sitting on the porch next to their house, the two white people that had cussed me out a few months prior, they were shook as fuck. And then they started trying to make it seem like I'm intimidating them and shit. And really, what I did was when I seen them one day, I was like, y'all know y'all fucked up. I was like, y'all cussed me out. I was like, you're trying to make it seem like I was shady, but y'all are shady. Like, I was just on that. Like, at that point, I realized how fucked up they were as people because I'm like, damn, bitch, I helped y'all get housing and y'all played me. And here I am in need, and you're just like acting like y'all don't see me when y'all literally only have housing because of me. And I'm literally sitting on the steps of this house looking at the life I was supposed to have, and I'm finding out from Aaron they're behind on rent. So they can't even make 350 a month for themselves. On top of that, they fucking asked on t- on top of that, they asked Aaron to put a motherfucking they asked Aaron to put a fucking shower in their bathroom because they didn't want to fucking use the tub no more. And I'm like, and keep in mind, Erin's telling me this shit, and I could tell she's very, very upset. And I could tell she's telling me this as a way to be like, I'm never going to rent to anyone again. Like, she's letting me know you helped the wrong white people and now you're punished. Like that was what the energy was giving. The energy was giving, and when they leave, I'm never helping nobody again. And I was like, oh shit, damn. So I just want to put that in mind, put that in perspective. I'm still making menus, still trying to work, still trying to get people orders out, still trying to I'm gonna be real. I'm not good, y'all, and I haven't been good for a long time. I didn't want to say it because I didn't want nobody to stop buying from me. Because I don't want to be broker than I already was. I don't want to be more down bad. I didn't want nothing bad else to happen to me. And because I was thinking like that, bad things were continuing to happen. Instead of me being honest about bad things already happening and being candid about what I could and couldn't do, I was trying to push myself to do shit that I could not have done. No, listen, this whole situation is crazy. Like, bitch, people be like, oh, your life is a movie. No, it's not. It's not. It's a bunch of fucking shame that people don't want to hold. It's a bunch of motherfucking shame that people refuse to hold. Like again, those white people were sliding throughout that house. They was checking to make sure I wasn't on the porch because I was the way I was cussing them out and letting them know like y'all fucked up everything. Like I was so angry. Ah. But again, I can understand people saying that I'm dumb for like giving the house up. Like I can understand that in retrospect. In retrospect, I don't think so though, because as much as I would have lived in that house and been happy, I just feel like I would have people pleased and had three other motherfuckers living in there with me. We would have all been paying $200, and then who knows what would have happened next. Like honestly, like I still am trying to figure out like how to have self esteem, bitch. Like I'm still trying to figure out how to stand up for myself. I'm still trying to figure out how to say no, set boundaries. So no, having that house would have been bad. I really see that now. And like lowest of keys, even though I wasn't supposed to be harmed by Heather and her partner, I now have more information around how there are trans people who are ops. I mean, thank you for laughing. I mean, I appreciate you for being entertained. You know, I genuinely appreciate you being for being entertained. I feel like I tell the story in a way that might be kind of comical, but the shit's a mess. There's more though, bitch. There's fucking more, bitch. Of course. So in the midst of all this, my Virgo friend is like, bitch. I have watched you be tossed around like a motherfucking softball. You are just being. You are just wow. And my Virgo friend was like, bitch, come to my house, come live, and it was the first time that I ever felt like I was free, bitch, in a house where I did not have to pay a damn dollar and nobody fucking gave a fuck about what I did as long as I wasn't harming myself or others and like nobody was surveilling me. Nobody was coming to tell me all the time that I was fucking up. Like it was the first time I ever like lived with people that cared about me having dignity, that cared about me having a space, that cared about me being a fucking live, like in all the ways that you should be alive, in all the ways that you should be alive in your home. And like that shit fucked me up in the best way. Like it was like the most beautiful meltdown of my life. Like I literally was like I had such a it was like the first time my nervous system actually was like, sweetie, you're regulated. Like, it was the first time I ever was like able to be honest about how I was feeling and I had to people please. It was the first time I ever felt like, I didn't have to be so strong. Um, because the people around me were not counting on me to do that. They weren't counting on me to lead them or help them. Like they were truly helping me. And I feel like there's so many times where like, you think that like people are helping you, but really y'all are trading, y'all are bartering, y'all are motherfucking like y'all are in community doing something, but it's a ebb and a flow. It's not a one-sided like thing. And I really feel like they gave me something that they truly could offer me, which was peace, a place for peace. And so it was just very much a feeling of being helped because I deserved it, not because I was being seen as someone who was so like down bad. Like, I guess I'll help you. Like, it was very much like, enough, like enough. And I feel like that friendship, I'm gonna be so fucking for real. I did not know how to maintain that friendship, and it makes me sad because it's like I think me and that person we talk sometimes, but I do miss being closer with them. However, I'm sitting with my shame, right? Because like there's a part of me that feels like I took too much of the good thing, and maybe they feel slightly like they don't know what to say. Like maybe they're worried about hurting me. Maybe they're sitting with their shame and they're trying to gather their thoughts. But our conversations have been kind of interesting because like we've kind of been talking about hanging out, but it's never happening. Like it's like somehow we like I think we're supposed to hang out this week, or this to or tomorrow. I can't remember. I'm gonna figure it out, but there's a part of me that's worried that's not gonna happen, and like that it was just a gesture, and like they're trying to be nice, like they're not trying to like be like, like there's a part of me that's worried that they're like scared to tell me like how they really feel. But I feel like there's a part of me that's also like, I never told them like how much I appreciated like what they did. Like I've said thank you a lot, obviously, but I never really explained to them that like this actually like bonked me on the head with like how much I deserved like support, and how much obviously everyone deserves support, but everyone's not getting it. And then on top of it, even when I've been helped in the past, it's always been like, well, I've helped you, so what can you do for me? Or if you want help, how are you gonna help me? Not scam alert, I'm dead. No, exactly. Like they had the, and I want to also say that like this friend had a partner who had a very like lucrative job, and so like their partner was working the most. My friend also was like helping with my business, and then also was doing part-time work. And so this was a situation where like, you know, I know for a fact that like everything wasn't all good, but nobody put their fucking financial stress on me. Nobody ever made me feel like I was taking away from them. And to be quite honest, whenever I shared with them, they were kind of like, "Oh wow, like thank you." But like, they never were like expecting anything. Like they were genuinely pleasantly surprised when I had anything to offer. And I always do, but I feel like the energy was very much like, thanks, like you didn't have to do this. Like they always let me know like you didn't really need to do any of that, but thank you. And just the ways that like again, like they had their own shit. Like I found out that one of my friends in that house had a dad that was, annoying. And they never once told me about their annoying dad situation, like I just feel like this friend was like one of those friends that like, they really did have a lot of privacy. And I think that's why like I think I feel anxiety at times, because like I think like they don't always reveal everything. Like they really just allow like their energy to speak for itself, and like that's how I feel. Yeah. No, and see that's the thing. I reached out to them to hang out with them, and like I just feel like they did post on their story that they've been having like a wild time, because that housing situation ended because the house started to flood. And so there was a conversation about how my friend who invited me into the house, them and their partner were going to move in with their mom. And I never once dreamed of being like, can I come? Like I was never on that type of time. But I was like, noted, like y'all are gonna move out. Our house is flooding. We need to figure it out. I feel like in that time I started to look into living in Ann Arbor, Ypsilanti area, just because it's a more populated area, younger people. I'm not saying Detroit doesn't have youth. I'm just saying that like from what I noticed, just from again in the past living certain cities, certain places, like being in the college towns, being around places where things are a little bit more accessible, that was really my move. I was like, I might have to become a bus bitch, fucking a train bitch. You know what I mean? Like I was like, I might have to learn these things. Like I've been lucky to have a car, but like I need to start thinking about places I can get that are more accessible. Like I just started thinking like, how can I pivot from this situation? Because again, I had such a loving housing situation that I actually was like, what's gonna be the best move for me? That's when I meet Nat. And I'm gonna be real with you. I have said that I never dealt with a parent before, but that's a lie. There was a person that I still talk to this day who I entertained a relationship with, but it lasted literally like 5 days. And they were basically like overwhelmed because they were a single parent, and they were trying to figure out how to be there for their kid and how to be there in a relationship. And they basically were like, you know what? They're like, I'm gonna choose my kid. And I'm gonna be real with you, that is why I still talk to them. Because like I'm like, bitch, yeah, like you're a single parent, you don't wanna start a relationship and start trying to make that like a little family or some shit. Like that's real. And honestly, I was telling him straight up, I was like, I'm not about to be a step parent. Like I have no desire to co parent. So if you want to date me, like you're gonna have to know that you want to be with me and like have a relationship, and not just like be using me as a parent. And like I think in his heart of hearts, I think he knew any woman I'm with or any partner I'm with is gonna have to like help me with my kid. And so I'm glad I did what I did. I'm glad I stood up for myself, right? But at the same time, after that situation, I clearly didn't learn, because Nat Nat told me straight up that they were trying to get full custody. And I want to be clear that like when me and Nat started talking, yes, there was like it was like a very much like everyday good morning text person. It was very much like every day checking in on me, and like this went on for like several weeks. I want to say 6 weeks of like talking to me, and we did not have a date planned in those 6 weeks. Like I want to say week 7 is when we planned a date, because in my mind I'm like I'm taking it slow, you know what I mean, like that in my mind, because usually I go on a date with someone and then the date lasts like 5 days, and like then I'm like I'm obsessed, I like them, and like I'm doing, you know what I mean. So I'm trying to like do something different. I'm like I'm gonna text with this person if they text me every day and I text them every day, I'm gonna check with how I feel. And so I'm really thinking, and this is after I dated that narcissist dude who tried to play me on Easter. So I'm thinking, bitch, I'm leveling up, I'm getting better. And so of course Nat knows that I'm trying to move out here. And he was about to move into this place right here. And so his plan was like, to get a 2-bedroom apartment. He said that he got a discount because he worked for the company that owns this apartment building. And so his energy was very much like, I want to get full custody of, or yeah, he's like, I want to get full custody. He's like, I'm not ready yet. He's like, but I want to be. He's like, but also like, I'm kind of terrified to be like, living in a space with my child. He's like, I actually have never had to be parenting on my own. He's like, she's over a year old, and like I'm just trying to like make sure that like I'm being, as attentive as I can be. He's like, I just don't know. He's like, I also can't afford to childproof. I feel like that conversation happened way later, obviously, in our conversation, and so I was already kind of connected. And so the very first weekend that we spent together after going on dates and hanging out, I was like helping them because they couldn't childproof their apartment. So like me and the baby and them were like basically hanging out, but there were definitely moments where like they were like not watching their child, and like there were things going on. And so there were definitely moments where I felt like, oh shit, like they're not just scared because they don't have a baby proof. They don't know what kind of shit to buy to make sure their house is like good for a kid. Because they had this one lamp that was tall as fuck and had a bunch of rods on it. And like, first things first, the baby grabs the rod and almost creams their whole self. And luckily, we were both like, somehow, like, I want to say I wasn't watching the baby. I had just like turned my head and saw it happening. And they saw it and they ran and they grabbed the lamp before it could fall. But it was just kind of like, bro, like the fact that you have this kind of lamp and it's not like in a room with the door shut, you know? And so again, there was definitely moments where I was just like, yeah, I am a babysitter slash nanny slash girlfriend to be. Because at that point we weren't dating, but we very much had started building a friendship that was sexual, uh, but not official, if that makes sense. Like I wasn't really interested in being a girlfriend at that point. So I was just like, yeah, we'll just keep it cute. So I want to say he did help me with my business from time to time, sure. But I want to say for the most part, I was leaning on like my friend in Hazel Park still. I was leaning on a couple people in the building, like 2 people in the building. Like I was leaning on like 2 different people, again, to just like help me and support me in certain ways, and like mostly rides, like mostly with car stuff. And so with that being said, like I was here, I was trying to, again, figure out what it looks like to move to this new city, trying to figure out what it looks like to start over. And as I said, like they said they wanted full custody, but the time that I watched their baby when they were childproofing was one of maybe 2 times the baby was here. Like the baby was here exactly 2 times, high key. And I was surprised. Like again, I was just kind of like, how is that the case? Because again, they had told me they want full custody. They had told me all this bullshit, and I'm trying to help them. I'm trying to help myself, but again, like I'm also very aware that like I don't want to be with this person. I also feel like the lack of them being in their child's life, the way that like their child's mother called me. We had a 2-hour conversation where they basically were like, like low key in retrospect, the child's mother was really trying to give me like a warning. She was like, she's like, he's gonna lose that apartment soon. She's like, he's gonna lose that job soon. He's gonna lose everything soon. And she was like really scaring the shit out of me. She was like, he's gonna lose custody soon. And so it was just a very like awkward moment where I was like on the phone with his child's mother and like ex fiance, and she had proposed to him apparently, and like I'm just like, whoa. And I told her on the phone straight up, I was like, I really don't think you should let him take the baby because, like, the two times the baby was here, I just don't think that he was watching her as intently as he should. And she was like, well, she's like, I'm going to take him to court for child support. So just so you know, she's like, this shit about to fold. Like, the ex fiance was like, shit's about to go left for you. And I was like, all right, sweetie. And I want to say after that conversation, he started getting angry with me and was acting as if, I had done something shady, but like I had basically just texted her and asked her what she thought our relationship was. Again, me and Nat were friends. We started off trying to get to know each other romantically, but once I was in real life with them, it just became very obvious that like all they really had time for was work, and their baby when they had it, but mostly work. And so I was like, I don't want to be with this person. I don't like this person like that. So when they asked me to be their girlfriend, I said no. I feel like their energy was very much like, well, they're like, I'm gonna go find my forever. And so they started going out on dates, trying to swipe on people, meet up with people. And I'm gonna be real, like when they were out going on dates and meeting up with people, I was kind of hoping that they would meet someone. I was kind of hoping, like, there was supposed to, I was just like really hoping that there was just someone that would just come into their life and be kind, you know? Like, I was hoping that someone would be kind and love them and like be nice to them because again I wasn't about to do it. Like I just feel like I had realized through living with them like it wasn't gonna work, and I became living with them because my house was flooding and I was trying to move out here anyway, and they were like, bitch, they were like, come on through. They were like, I got you. They were like, whenever, when you find a place, I'm gonna help you move into it. Like the energy was very much like we're both queer, we're both trans, we're both femme presenting in ways, we're both, cute. We both think we're cute. I feel like that's the thing about being queer is like a lot of queer people are like, fam, what's up? And again, I feel like some folks, a part of oppressed groups, may feel like that. I feel like there are a lot of black femmes who will just root for a black woman no matter what. Not because that black woman is necessarily doing anything for them, but because that's a black woman and we see her in this position and we're happy for her. And with that being said, I mean no shade when I say that. What I mean is that there is this desire when you're in an oppressed group to actually be loving towards people in that oppressed group as well, because you already know how hard it's about to be or how wild it's about to be or what's about to come. So with that being said, like I feel like Nat's energy was like, oh, like my fiance and I didn't work out. Like Nat's backstory is that he was proposed to by this Leo woman that he had had a child with, and unfortunately, she found someone who is Korean, and she's one of those like K-pop girlies, and now she's about to have a Korean baby, and she's just very much, yeah. I also feel like I didn't know this at the time, but at some point, me and Nat had a deeper combo, and he had kept saying something about being a white apologist or something, or a something. Like he basically was just on some like, I'm not ashamed to be white. Like he one of those whites that thinks somebody trying to shame them for literally being white, and it's just like, girl, nobody said that. Whitney, it's no shade. I'm not trying to play nobody. What I'm trying to just basically offer is that like when you're in an oppressed group, even if somebody not doing what they're supposed to be doing, or even if they're maybe wrong, like people will fuck with them. And so I feel like Nat was like, oh shit, your house is flooding, like oh shit, like this or that. Like yeah, they weren't about to be like fuck you, like, but at the same time, I feel like I didn't see the predatory nature of it all, because in my mind, I'm like, the baby's under 2 years old, dog. Like that's, in my opinion, I feel like that's the easiest age for kids. I feel like before they're like super verbal and they're just like they're doing sign language, I'm like fuck yes. Like honestly, that's how I feel. Cause once you gotta start talking to the babies, it could be a lot. Cause like once they start asking questions, like babe, woo, that shit's hard. I don't envy no parents having to explain nothing to these kids. But when they're little and they just need a snack or the TV, or they want to get held. Oh my God, thank you. Thank you so much. I know exactly what to do. But when the baby start asking about space and shit, baby start asking about why some people are tiny and some people are big, dog. That's why I don't envy being a parent, because it's like you gotta teach someone how to be a person. That's a lot. That's a lot. That's why I'm trying to give parents more grace, because it's like I couldn't even imagine. So, anyways, so in my mind, I'm just like, how hard can it be? The baby got a playpen, a bedroom of her own. Like, it should be easy, dog. The way that this man was just trying to do the bare minimum for this baby. And again, that's why when he asked me to be his girlfriend, I'm like, baby, you don't even care for your baby. How could I be your baby? How could I be your fucking cinnamon apple? Like, that's what I'm saying. I'm like, you don't even treat your kids good. You have one baby on this earth, and they look just like you. You got your twin out here. Again, let me see you treat your baby bad. Why would I talk to you? I'm disgusted. And again, I never want a baby to grow up and talk to me about how their dad was always in my pussy or always in my face and they ain't never see they dad. That's sad to me. I never want to be that person, because there's definitely women that I look at or I looked at when I was younger and I'd be like, how could you be with him? And I think I said that to one of my dad's girlfriends, like, why do you like him? Be like, I really had to ask. Cause it's like, what are y'all seeing in him? He not even showing up for his kids. Like, I was really just like confused. Like women like men that don't care about their kids. Never sat right with me. So again, as an adult, I'll never be that girl, because I always remember being a kid looking at the women that my dad would be with, thinking, damn, you don't care that he ain't send no child support. Like, you don't really care that he don't do shit for me. Okay. And I never wanted to be around that woman either. Like, I would be creeped out by that lady, because I'd be like, why is she like? And in retrospect, who knows? Who knows? Who knows? Who knows? But I'm getting off this topic. Basically, like, me and Nat living together was, again, Paul. I don't know. I don't know. Again, here's my thing. Them not caring about how a man is treating his child, sad. Especially their girl child. That's all I'm gonna say about that. In this patriarchal world, a man not caring about his girl child, a woman not caring about that, that's all I'm gonna say about that. And if you don't think that that matters, that's again a self-reflection is perhaps needed. Perhaps ask yourself, look in the mirror, ask yourself why it don't matter. Again, some of these questions that y'all ask, I want y'all to ask them to yourselves in the mirror. Truly, I just want y'all to ask that question to yourself, because they may not be for me. Some of y'all may be talking to yourselves. I think that that's one thing to think about. Sometimes when people talk, they're just talking to themselves. Sometimes. Again, with that being said, living with Nat, moving in here, uh, at this point, I'm grateful. In the beginning, I was kind of just like, what is this about to be? I really thought that Nat was maybe not the best person in the world, but the way he talked about his child, I really thought he was an engaged parent. And I really thought that he was trying to just, transition out of living with his ex, who turned out to be a weeaboo or whatever those girlies are called that are like obsessed with Asian people. But it was just very awkward of a situation, it seemed. And so I was like, word, let's win together. At some point, when he realized I didn't want to be romantically in a relationship with him, and in retrospect, I think it's fascinating that because I wouldn't be his quote unquote girlfriend, because I wouldn't say you are my boyfriend or my partner, because I wouldn't say that, that's what made him start fucking somebody new and then disappearing. But he very much was like, okay, like, I'm gonna go find someone who wants to be my girlfriend. I understand his desire to want a girlfriend. I don't understand Korea Boo. Thank you. I understand that he wanted a girlfriend, but it wasn't seeming like that to me. Like, when he asked me to be his girlfriend, it was kind of just like, what? Like, it was very much out of nowhere, and I was kind of just like, what made you ask? Like, I didn't even ask that, but I was just kind of like, and again, my energy was very much just like, I was like, I really don't see you engaged. Like, I told him exactly, like, I don't see you with your kid. I don't really see you sharing. I was like, you barely cook. Like, you're not really showing up as a good partner, as a friend. Like, I was like, even as a friend, you're not showing up the best. So I don't think I could like be in a relationship with you because even as your friend, like you're not really giving as much as you could. And then from there, he started fucking this new lady, and him and the new lady started fucking, and he would come home and tell me about it. And I'm gonna be real with you, it was hurtful, but at the same time, one time he did come home and I was butt naked smoking a blunt with somebody, and he like came home. He was like he came home to like get something, and I was just sitting there casually, and I did not move. I did not act like something was wrong. I literally continued to sit there and just be like, and he wanted me to feel shame so bad. But I'm like, girl, you be coming here telling me you fucking this lady 5 times a night. Fuck you. Like, see, know that I could get some dick too. Have a good day. So he literally would just come home every fucking 7 or 8 days, come get some laundry. Like it was very much like he was gone. Like once I said I wouldn't be his girlfriend, he was gone. Then at some point he told me he got fired and that we both had to move out, and I was like, show me the paper. To this day, he never showed me the paper. Then he sent me an email that said that we had to both be out by the first. But I got new information that says that he's actually still on the lease. With that being said, me and Nat are not cool, but we are at least in communication enough to know like what's going on. However, I do have more information than him at this point because I actually live in this apartment, and I did get an eviction notice, but here's the thing. He told me that he was getting let go of his lease. I'm so sorry. I rolled this so stupid. Like there's like a hole in it, and I keep on trying to figure it out. Delete what I said. So yeah, so basically my I must just re-roll this shit because my goodness, like I've literally just been burning it and not getting anything. Anyways, unrelated, unrelated. So Nat and I are not friends, as I said, but they tried to trick me several times into moving out of this apartment. Am I squatting? Yes. Am I in danger? Again, he doesn't want an eviction on his record, but he really has tried to trick me into moving out several times. And so I think it's in my best interest to move out truly. However, I did talk to him about transferring the lease because honestly, like I know that it's like really convenient like for me to like continuously like not have to pay rent. Like it's such a convenient storyline, and it's very true. Like I've been really grateful that like people have come through and shared with me like I think not having to pay rent has really offered me a lot of space to like just exist in a way that I haven't been able to before that. But with that also being said, it's extremely privileged to not have to pay rent, and so I don't want anyone to think that like I think I should be able to live for free all the time. Like I don't think that. I do think though that like I have, and I'm grateful, and if that happens again I'll be grateful again. But I am working towards paying my own way in life, promise. And so with that being said, I did ask Nat about a lease transfer, and they said that they would have to ask the corporation or the company that he lives with. And so that's kind of what I'm waiting on right now. But if I'm being super real with you, I'm about to just call the corporation myself because there's a part of me that feels like, and this is just my thought process. He told me that he wanted to break the lease, and I told him that I would take over the lease. But him saying he was gonna break it is fascinating because, like I said, he's been telling me the lease is up September, whatever the fuck. And so I genuinely think like he has been trying to get me out of this apartment so he can break the lease and or sublet it to someone else. But because I'm here, because it would be illegal for him to do that shit, because all the things that he's done that were not right, he's actually put himself in a really bad situation. And so, even though I know I've been really kind in the past to people and been really forgiving, I want you to know that I have no desire. I have no desire to spare Nat. I have no fucking desire. I know I probably sound vengeful, bitch. It's not even that. It's like I don't want him to miss out on the consequences of his behavior. Because I feel like lowest of keys, I feel like sometimes like I've missed out on the consequences of my motherfucking behavior and had my ass looking crazy out here and acting a fool. and thinking that shit was supposed to work one way when it wasn't. So I genuinely do believe that he does need consequences for this behavior because, first of all, you moved me into this house and wanted me to help you be a nanny, and you didn't even care about your kid like that. That's the first chop. Because why would you tell someone that you want to get full custody and it's very clear now that you actually could never even handle that shit? Number two, you moved a human into your house and then moved out. You didn't say, hey, the this bill and that bill, let me transfer it in your name. There was no conversation about transferring anything. He just left. And then now has to come back. Like the fact that he's still talking to me is comedy because he doesn't want to talk to me. He's only communicating with me because he has no fucking choice. So at this point, I'm gonna be fucking candid with you and just say that like when it comes to Nat, I know that he wants very badly to not have an eviction on his record, and he can't afford to give me $2,600 yet. So before he can get that 2,600 and break this lease, my plan is to transfer it into my name, and or just snitch on him. Because I'm sure if I tell the fucking lease company what happened, they'll just fucking, they'll terminate his lease by evicting him and take him to court for what he's owed. Because I feel like this shouldn't even involve me. But there's a part of me that's like, if I go through with that, because right now my thought process is, bitch, if he don't come up with that 2,600, he can't break the lease. And he wanted to pay the rent for August. Like he already had paid for July when he got fired and tried to get me out before he had to pay August. He has to pay August because I'm still here. If I wasn't here, he might be able to break the lease, maybe. I don't think so though. I think no matter what, I would still be able to be here. So I don't know if the angel's about to bless him with this 26. I don't know, bitch. But all I do know is I'm going to call legal aid and just see what I could do that will make sense for me because I'm over here trying to outmaneuver this motherfucker and he crazy. So I'm not gonna do nothing more. But in the meantime, in between time, I just want to be candid that did I expect to be abandoned in someone's apartment? Fuck no. Did I expect for that person's lease to still be holding them accountable and for me to be benefiting? Fuck no. Am I gonna take this benefit and go? Yeah, thank you, Ren, and try to make it a win? Absolutely, bitch. That's all we do. Is try to figure out how to fucking win again. So I just want to put that out there. Nicki Minaj won again. Okay, bitch. Even though I know we're not really fucking with Nicki right now, but I heard she getting a divorce. I heard she leaving Kenneth. I don't want to turn the chat into that, but pray for Papa Bear. That's all I gotta say. Moving on though. Yeah. So I just want to be candid that I'm out of sorts. I'm feeling crazy. I need to get legal aid and shit like that. I already went to court this month. A man tried to kill me. I want to put that out there too. I talked about that a while ago. Like the video I put out that said I wasn't supposed to even be back, or I wasn't supposed to come back or something like that, or I didn't think I was gonna come back or something. I talk about it more in that one, but yeah, like I had a lot of crazy things happen since I was abandoned by my roommate. I've tried to do all different types of things to survive in this motherfucker, but at this point, I have to actively go to legal aid and try to get some support because I was told that if you already have a lease, it's easier to get support. Like if you're already in a spot, it's easier to get support to stay in it versus trying to get into a spot. So I just want to put it out there that I have no intention of disappearing, hiding, not talking no more. I know I did that for a long periodic time. I know that some people are probably worried and scared about their packages, their orders. Please know, I'm not reaching out to all of you because I just do not want to stress you out about the timeline of things. And in retrospect, I stressed you out probably even more. So with that being said, I just want folks to know that the prices have lowered in the business, especially if you've been a returning customer, especially if you've been waiting for a long periodic time. I wanted to just lower all the prices just to let people know like this is not a cash grab. The prices were as high as they were before because I was houseless since the beginning, and I feel a little bit more stable right now. That probably is delusional, but to be honest with you, having the access that I have with like I'm entertaining someone right now who works at a bakery, and so they're able to bring me food. They're able to take care of me and buy groceries for me. Like there's things that like are happening for me that like kind of make it so I can move a little bit more. I can wiggle a little bit more. And again, if you're someone that bought into my business when I was houseless and going through and have been keeping me alive. I just need you to know, thank you so fucking much. Like you're the reason why like every situation I could just move away. Like real talk. Like the business is the people, right? Like the operation is the people. And so because of all the people excuse me, of all the people that have helped me, I've been able to fucking not have to be trapped in a situation that was sucking my soul, sucking my energy, scaring the shit out of me. In every situation I just explained, like I've been able to turn to community and be supported. Like there were people that told somebody about my trauma, my struggle, my story, and it helped me. Lillian, I appreciate you so much for being kind. I've never seen you before, so I hope that you stick with us for a little while. But with that being said, I just wanted to come here and just be candid that like I've not handled anything the right way. I know that. I didn't know that though always. Like I didn't think that always. And so I just want to be candid that in the ways that I've caused harm, in the ways that I've just been whack, in the ways that I've not been on point, in the ways that I've been just not doing the right thing. I just need folks to know that I am fucking sorry. I know that like I can do better. I wish to repair the ruptures that I have absolutely been a part of and have been the catalyst for the rupture. I've felt so much shame for so long, and it feels actually really amazing to be able to be saying any of this because I felt for a very long time that like the only answer was like deletion, and it feels really good to be honest that I was feeling like that because I know that some people uh, may also be at a point where you feel like you've made so many. I'm trying to like, get through this to be honest because like I feel like unfortunately as a lighter skinned person like we could start crying and motherfuckers be feeling bad for us when we did the bad thing, when we did the wrong thing. And I don't want to take off, I don't want to take anybody's like, I just don't want to like shift the narrative from like, oh, this person's trying to hold themselves accountable and like this person crying and like making it seem like they're in pain like when really like they've caused pain. So I just want to be candid that um I did feel like for a long time that like I should just disappear because like I was making bad decisions and like I don't want to make bad decisions anymore and I also don't want to disappear. So I think that the only thing that makes sense is for me to come here and be extremely candid and vulnerable. And it does feel in my chest like I am feeling like restriction, I am feeling tears, I am feeling stress. But I think that's again from holding my shame. Like I'm holding in my shame real time like that. I do feel ashamed and I do feel like I don't deserve people to be kind to me. And I think that it's in those moments where you think you deserve to be beat up and lashed at and like hurt that you really don't need that. Like you really absolutely don't need that. And I think that getting to that point was really the catalyst for me trying to work on getting out of it. And so I'm not gonna lie, like I've definitely been evasive and inconsistent in communication and I would like to move forward and not do that. I would like to move forward and communicate with everyone. And I'm gonna be honest, some of the people that have worked with me for the past few years have been so gracious with me. So gracious to the point where even when people were not understanding because they were hurting because I had hurt them, um, I I still had the dignity to engage with them in good faith. I need folks to know that like not understanding or not being in a space to like be accepting that someone is coming to you and telling you what's really happening, like that's not a problem. Like nobody, you don't owe anyone a time limit on anger or hurt. And so I don't want anyone to feel like they have to respond to me in any kind of way. Like, I can be sounding reasonable and like what I did was unreasonable. So I just want that to be out there that like if you're hurt, if you're still feeling pain, if you're feeling like I'm not trustworthy, if you're feeling like I'm not a good business person, I just want to put it out there that I am hearing you and I am holding that. And I think that that's why I don't think I want to be a business person anymore. I think I want to be a community member that has access to plant medicine. I don't know if that changes how things are operated, but I'd like to change how ways are. I'd like to change how things are operating. I'd like to shift in my behavior. I'd like to find solutions that work for community. I'd like to ask more questions and also open up, the floor for suggestions. I'd love for people to give feedback, even if they think that it might be harsh. I appreciate people being vulnerable and honest with me. And again, I know that we don't deserve harshness, but I do think that sometimes people will be apologizing and expect the same measured tone that they're giving from people that they've impacted. And I just want people to know that it's not on you to be performing like everything's okay if it's not. It's not on you to be acting as if like I deserve better treatment than I've given. And if you feel like I don't deserve, you know, uh, a certain level of communication, like I'm not gonna hold that against you. Like again, I've been harmed before and I've had a delayed response and I've been upset with myself for not in the moment being like more direct, more pointed. And just the same, I've had moments where I've been super direct and pointed with someone, and then in the end, I was like, dang, that felt good as fuck. You know what I mean? Like, dang, like, I actually am glad that I let them know how I felt and I didn't hold back. So, again, I don't want anyone to feel like I'm going to wither or wilt because they're angry with me. I had someone reach out to me and tell me that they were very unhappy with my business and they said that I was not doing good business. And I'm not gonna lie, like it's really hard to like get a bad review when you get a bunch of good reviews. Like it's really hard. Like I feel like for the most part I get a lot of like love, and so I'm still trying to hold that like someone like not loving it isn't necessarily about me being the worst, but more about that standard for business, that relationship. And I'm gonna be real, my response was I am hearing you, and however we can repair. Like my energy wasn't like I didn't, and maybe that was the wrong thing. Like maybe I was supposed to absorb the words and respond back in a certain type of way, but my energy was just I'm hearing you. And all right, I don't know if I have any mods in here. If anybody would like to mod, because some of the people that are coming in here definitely getting really strange. So if anybody would like to mod, please let me know. I'm so sorry for any of the massage and war or weirdness that people just saw. Some of these trolls are coming in being very fucking demonic. So just my bad. Because this ain't even the first time. I'm just genuinely very sorry, truly. Um, I'm not sure where I am. Okay. What I'm trying to offer is that the person that told me that my business wasn't hitting, I tried to, reach out and, ask to try again. I asked to repair the rupture in ways that made sense for them. And that's just how I'm going to move forward. As Boom, I'm not sure. I mean, no shade when I say this, but I feel like you've been in here before for sure. I'm gonna let you be in here a little bit more before I give you mod skill, just because I feel like I'd like to give it to someone that I've seen more. But it's really no shade to you. If I see you more consistently, I have no problem with you modding. But just thank you for the offer, truly, and I'll remember that. I'll definitely remember that. But getting back to what I was saying though, um, I I take the constructive criticism. Lillian, same situation. I have not seen you enough in here, but thank you. Please don't offer to mod if you haven't been to the last few lives. That's all I'm gonna ask. If you haven't been like consistently in the lives for at least like the past couple weeks. Oh, I'm not on Twitter Spaces, S Boom, so that's why you cannot be a mod. Ren, I was low key hoping you would ask. Low key, thank you so much, genuinely. Um, thank you, thank you, thank you. Um, Sugarcane, I appreciate you. I've not been on Twitter Spaces. I've been banned from Twitter Spaces, but I do remember Sugarcane. So we here now. We here for sure. we're definitely here now. Again, if I see you in the lives more participating, I got you. But again, I'm trying to just make sure that the people that are modding are the people that I see the most in here, and that's really just my politic on that. Really nothing personal. Really just about who I've seen, who I've interacted with the most. But again, I do remember you now, Sugar King. Again, getting back to what I was saying, if anybody has negative experiences with my business, I don't want to hide that from the world. I really want to be the kind of business owner or business person or community member that is working with plant medicine that says, all right, like you didn't like this. What do you suggest? Like, I really want to be that type. I don't want to be like acting as if what's good for one person or some people is going to be good for everybody. And with that being said, that's why I think I want to switch more to like a co op model. I know not everybody's going to buy in bulk, but I am. And if I'm buying in bulk, that means that I can alter my prices whenever I want to and be more collective minded. And so that's why the price is lowered in the shop. I'm trying to try something new. I'm trying to see like if I can become the kind of person that is working in within a group mindset, which with it working within a collective mindset, working in a we can all be abundant together mindset. And my business when it first started, I was trying to get enough money to rent a hotel. I was trying to get enough money to take care of two people. Word, I thank you for saying that. But now I'm just taking care of myself, and I'm not saying I need less than two people, but I do. I actually do. Like when I was taking care of me and Christopher, I was taking care of somebody's fucking, what was it? Um, fucking, it was an energy drink, and I can't remember the name of it, but they were definitely addicted to monsters, I want to say. And so I was just buying a lot of stuff for this person and making sure that their creature comforts were comfortable because, again, they had helped me stop being homeless. And so I just feel like there's been so many moments where um, I felt like, damn, like I'm making sure that this person or that person are good, and in this moment I'm not. In fact, the person that I'm closest with is making sure I'm good more than I'm making sure they're good. And I'm not usually in connections like that. I'm usually in connections where I'm the one giving the most, and now I'm not. And so because I'm shifting in my behavior, I'm trying to shift in the way that I operate in terms of commerce and things of that nature. But I know that like not everybody's been happy. I know some people are very pissed off. And again, that was not my intention. It truly wasn't. I was really just trying to keep going. And I got to the point where I just burned myself the fuck out, and now things are moving a little slower. And so I just want to be candid that I don't want to move slowly. I don't want to take my sweet time. I want to be mentally well enough to handle everything that's happening, and I haven't been. On top of that, I have court at the end of the month. As I said earlier, trigger warning for deletion, but a man did try to kill me in this apartment. Unfortunately, I've kind of just, I don't know. I can't call it. I feel like ever since that situation unfolded, I just been kind of, I just been in a different state of mind. It's weird. It's like I really feel like I got a second life. And then on top of that, I talked to my mom that month. Like I talked to her, and she told me that she thought I had died in June as well when I was inside of her. And it kind of fucked me up because I always celebrate my birthday in June. I call it my half birthday because I always feel like my actual birthday is the day after Christmas. So I always feel like my actual birthday is overshadowed by Santa Claus, Jesus, the new year. Like it just feels like a terrible time to be having a birthday because it's about everything else but you. Whereas, on June 26th or June 13th, so it depends. I usually just enjoy myself all June, but June is low key the month that I actually feel the most comfortable celebrating my birthday. So it's just funny that like I'm lowest of keys, maybe a Cancer. Lowest of keys, maybe a Gemini, probably a Cancer though. I feel like June 26th, definitely a Cancer, right? So with that being said, like I do believe that something is going on, something, I don't know. But I'm definitely feeling more comfortable to say I was wrong and I fucked up and I want to do better. And I really had trouble saying that for a long time. And I know some of y'all know that. I know some of y'all are like, bitch, where did you go? Some of y'all are like, bitch, I haven't seen you post in so long. I know. It wasn't because I didn't want to post. It's because I really was like, damn, can I post when I owe people? Can I post when I'm behind? Can I post and make it seem like everything's okay when it's really not? Like, I was scared to post because I was scared that people were gonna be mad that I was still existing while everything was fucked up. Whole time, had I done that, I might have been able to exist more fully. But I was just so in my head about people thinking I was shady or thinking that I was like having a good time while everything was crumbling that I low key made it crumble faster by not being candid, by not putting it out there, by not being vulnerable, by not being honest, by not being more empathetic for my to myself and what the fuck I was going through. I was really trying to perform like everything's fine. Everything's fine. Everything's gonna work out. And I think that that toxic positivity really got to me. Like, if I don't focus on the pain or the trauma, I could just focus on the joy, and that's not true. Like, we need to have a grieving process to have a joyous celebration. And it's unfortunate to say that because some of us want to just jump right into joy, want to jump right into doing good again. And I feel like that's where I went wrong, truly. It's like trying to perform like everything's Gucci, everything's fine. And really, everything was really bad. Everything was really scary. Everything was very lonely. Everything was very fucking just traumatic. And so I'm not saying this to be on some like, oh my God, like, woe is me. But it is to say, I've not been good. Some of y'all know more than others, but I want everybody to know so that if people want to tap in and help, if people can support, if people can uplift, if people can do more than just spectate, I would appreciate that because I'm genuinely drowning and I am terrified of having to tell everybody how much I'm drowning. But if I expose myself here, if I say things are going left, I need help, maybe you do too, maybe we can win together. I'm not sure. I'd like to. I'm just trying to say all the words that I know to communicate that things are going poorly and that I don't believe that nobody can't understand where I'm coming from, but I more so want the people that support me in my business and have supported me to know that it was not possible to do any of this without you. And I'm not saying that to be emotionally manipulative. I'm saying that to be candid that moving forward, I'd like to do it together. And if that's not possible, I also understand. I feel like the way I've behaved in the last few months has been erratic and scary and, you know, untransparent. Absolutely. And I regret it all. But I also feel like I just wanted to give backstory on how I got here. Because I feel like I used to be someone that used to talk a lot and used to share what I was really going through. But I haven't really been because I really didn't want anyone to know how bad it really is. Because I feel like on the internet, sometimes I think I perform as the strong friend, and I'm really not. Like, I'm the friend that want to be strong. I do. But I think that there's strength in being honest about how you don't got it. Hey, baby. Hey, Marie. I think there's a lot of strength in saying that I actually need help. And I think there's a lot of strength in saying I don't know what to do. And I feel like it's funny to say that because I actually feel like I'm having that same conflict with somebody right now in my life where I feel like, you know, sometimes I think that they want to just know what to do so bad that they skip the step of being new somewhere. And I don't want to skip that step. Like, I want to feel all of this. Like, I've not been someone that was willing to say, I'm not strong and I don't have it and I'm scared and I'm terrified of how to move forward and I don't want to make the I don't want to make the wrong move and I want help, I want guidance, like I want mentorship. Like, I've never been this person. And I don't want to just act like I've been here because I haven't. Like, being able to accept help is a skill. And I think I just haven't learned it. And I know that some people may think I've gotten a lot of help, but being able to accept that people need to help you and getting the support once you say, you know, posting a picture of a flyer of a GoFundMe, like trying to get financial support is different from trying to get support in growth and development in other areas. And so I want to be candid that while it's been easy for me to post a GoFundMe and it's been easy for me to post about like financial woes, it's been really hard for me to post. I'm so sorry. I just saw a bird battle. But yeah, it's been much harder for me to say like I'm actually mentally unwell and like I don't know what to do about that, or I've been operating in this or that way and I'd like to shift out of that behavior. It's not been the case, and I think now that I know for sure that I have a shot at not only being able to save this apartment, but being able to maybe even move out of it and move somewhere else, and being able to leverage all the things that have happened in this space, like having that as a reality in this moment is also part of why I could come to this clarity that hey, there's more than what's been there's more here than what I've understood. There's more going on than what I knew. And so I know that this is going to seem like a short video, but I promise you, from what I'm noticing, it's been over 2.5 hours. And on top of that, there is another live that I made before this where I was talking about all types of other things that you may appreciate. But I'm saying all this to say that I appreciate people for coming through, for loving on me, for spectating, for clicking a thumbs up, for sending a emoji, all of the things you do to pour into me. I really do appreciate it. I never knew that like people would care about what I had to say. I had hoped. I had hoped, but being able to share my thoughts and be celebrated, uplifted, being able to be in community with people, being able to be someone who has made mistakes and has come back and said, "Hey, I'm aware of that, and I'd like to shift." Like I'm really proud of myself in many ways. As much as I'm aware that I fucked up, I still do want to celebrate myself in many ways, as well as hold myself accountable for the ways that I have not been on point. So I say all this to say I love y'all. I care about y'all. I'm grateful that y'all love and care about me. I definitely feel it. Thank y'all for all the comments and the views lately, all the thumbs up, all the people that are clicking on the ads. Like, just thank y'all for just showing up in the way that you did. It's the way I'm about to get a Google check next month, bitch. It's the way that Google check is about to help me too. So just know that there are so many ways to pour into me, and I feel poured into. And I'm putting this out here again as just a call to action that I could really use some support via my business, and I could also really use some support via living in this space and maintaining this space. And again, if people have it for me, I will receive it. If all you have is a conversation, whatever the case may be, I will appreciate that as well. But I genuinely want to move forward with integrity and just stop being so silent, because I know that my silence is seeming like a lot of things probably to people, but it was genuinely shame. I was just afraid to hold the shame in front of all of you. So just thank y'all for listening to me. Thank y'all for holding space. Thank y'all for just taking some time to just be here with me while I share. It was easier to do so because of you, and I'm grateful again for the ways I'm able to go and eat a snack and take care of my human needs after this stream. Because again, I'm being supported still, even though I have made mistakes, even though I have not done everything perfectly. People have still saw it necessary to pour into me, and so I'm hoping people know that I don't expect to be supported, but I am grateful that I am, and that I hope that I can, I'm hoping that I can reciprocate that gratefulness in whatever way is possible. So I'm just saying I'm open to suggestions. If you made it this far in the video, feel free to just drop a comment about literally anything that you want to. If there's something that you want me to talk about in my next video, or if there's something that you have a question about that I can address for you, just let me know. I know someone left a comment about me talking about people I thought were attractive in show business, and it really made me think about how I really just be watching YouTube and like reruns of like old reality shows. I'm very rarely looking at a movie and thinking, oh, this attractive person. But I do remember the 90s and early 2000s when we were like, oh my God, this heartthrob. Like, I remember that. But I just feel like there's so many young white people that are being like put into casting. So I just feel like, I don't know. Like, I hate to say this, but it really feels like I'm not seeing a lot of people my age in Hollywood, seemingly. I don't know if anyone's seeing that. But yeah, I'm not seeing anyone my age or even like, yeah, I'm not seeing that. But again, I could be wrong. I could be wrong, but watch Abbott Elementary. That's all I can say to you. I feel like that's like the most recent show that I watched that had non-white people on it that I enjoyed, and obviously I thought there were some hotties on there, but I feel like other than that, like a lot of these shows are not giving. These movies are not giving. I'm trying to think of like the most recent show I watched. Honestly, Cops. Don't judge me, bitch. Don't judge me, please. Listen, listen. It was in between the Bad Girls Club. I'm gonna go. I love you. I love you. I'm so sorry. I watched some wild shit. Bye.